Okay, now you can go.
Okay, so all right, so his birthday's in 2 months, but they're going to be down visiting. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take him to the friendly local game store, and he's getting into Warhammer.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, okay, I know, right? Well,
Financial ruination for the kid.
At least he won't have to worry about being on drugs or anything. Because
the drugs might be cheaper.
Yeah. It might be cheaper.
Pure cocaine might be a little more friendly on the wallet.
But
yes, and if you buy bulk, it's cheaper.
And my wife's like, she's like, well, how much are you going to spend? I said, I'm going to give him 100. She said about 100. I'm like, well, that's not going to get much. And she's looking at me like, are you out of your rabbit ass mind?
I mean,
but, yeah, I know, right?
Oh, well, that's what I kind of agree with Metronoid that, like, if we weren't adults, which we're all adults here.
Well, mostly.
Yeah, for the most part. Sometimes.
Well,
I don't think it's not a hobby for, as Metronoid already said, it's not a hobby for people that don't have disposable income.
And he's just going to be 15. So it's like, okay, but are you sure? What about maybe some books? Because I already gave him a Kindle loaded with about 200 Warhammer novels. And he's using my sub to Warhammer TV. And I'm like, okay, so I wanted to make sure that it really was something he wanted to get involved in. So I'll find out when he gets down here. But holy shit, man. I know, for example, I bought a single kill team. One little $50. Just right off the top, $50.
Yes.
I'm like, come on, son. Come on, boy. You're 15, man. You ain't going to have the money for this shit. Because I'd rather get him a game or something we could play together. Like, well, he can't play Dark Tide because he has a PlayStation.
You could buy let's say even if they're $30 a piece, 3, 6, 8, you could buy 4 games for the price spent on 2 nights in a fucking rattle can. What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's why I'm like, okay, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because again, I don't know if Dark Tide's ever going to come out for the PlayStation. I don't know. But I'd love to jump into it with him on that. Because that's you're kind of getting a 40K fix or something like Battle Sector, which my understanding is about as close to 40K as you're going to get apart from Tabletop Simulator or something like that.
Yeah, Battle Sector's all right.
Yeah, that's it. But he's got a game deck because I can't get him on the PC Master Race yet. So,
I mean, look how much someone like Badger has spent on this hobby, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Could you imagine what kind of gaming PC that would buy?
Oh, that's the funny part, and I tease him about it all the time. Oh, I was gonna say, did he hear his name being dragged through the mud? He saved up for his gaming PC. I'm like, dude, if you'd have just suspended your Warhammer hobby, because yeah, I know.
I mean, just think about the collection Badger has. How much would it cost today to have that amount of stuff?
If you could get all of the stuff, because I guess a lot of it isn't even produced anymore. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're talking mid-5, maybe more figures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, and just think about GW with their double-digit price increases year over year.
They shouldn't have bragged about making as much money as they did. To me, that was their big major screw up.
Yep.
Yes, and just look at their financial reports year over year. The profit margins stay the same with more new releases and all of them mostly half releases, half a faction, half a playable faction where you have to spam 1 or 2 units over and over again, plus a big centerpiece that sets you back with $150, $200, I don't know. And it's clear that even though the setting has incredible potential, the player base is either stagnating or shrinking.
Yeah.
because there is no new blood, because it costs too fucking much to get into the hobby, and game systems that would have helped with this issue, like Legiones Imperialis, are unavailable and just as pricey, if not more.
I think one of the things too is people just don't have the patience to sit down and learn a skill, apply themselves, repeat, fail, repeat, succeed.
It's not a skill issue. It's not a skill issue when for example, Vizi, more than $120 for two Armiger, two small war walkers and a rattle can.
Yep.
That's not something that a 15-year-old kid can afford.
Yeah.
Because it's because it's the parents' wallet we are thinking with. And if you want this hobby to survive, if you want this setting, this game to survive, we have to have continuous influx of new players, and not just the FOMO buyers who go in, buy something, set it, put together one or two things, set the rest on the shelf, and sell it in half a year at a discounted price.
Well, what's funny is when I bought my Armigers, the manager was like, I was wondering how much longer that was going to sit on the shelf. I was like, well, I need it. So
I went down to the game store this morning to buy some paint. And of course, my FLGS is not a Warhammer store. It's a private guy who does, that sells the product. They don't stock them with Word Bearers Red. They don't stock them with Lupercal Green or Sons of Horus Green. And I'm like, wow! It's like without the Word Bearers, without the Lupercal, without the Sons of Horus, we wouldn't even have a 40K to play, and we're not going to stock their paint. Drives me nuts.
Well, I made it a point because he told me that they were discontinuing like the a couple different of the technicals. I think it was like Astrogranite Rubble or something. A couple other ones. I ended up buying as much as I could from some store up in Michigan because I was like, what if I need that? Why are they discontinuing? He's like, oh, well, nobody buys it. Like, all right, I'll buy it.
Yes, I mean, this is the news that the Warhammer community website should have with big fucking capital letters on, that we are discontinuing this product at this date. Get it before it runs out if you want to use it.
Yeah.
And no, you are hearing from the game store or any other place from the Gapemind, but not from the company. The company is thinking that we are putting out promo articles, we are putting out promo photo shoots, and the quite frankly, the bullshit. I don't know what is Warhammer. I want to say it fast. The jigsaw puzzle that you can guess. I don't know. They put out these things and they boasted that this is two-way communication. Fuck you. This is advertisement and nothing else. And unfortunately, the majority of the fan base lacks the financial responsibility and the impulse control to effectively call out the company and demand a better service.
No, I agree. I have a conspiracy theory. I think that they're holding out. My thought that they're holding out for this Warhammer series to come out and for that to bolster the numbers.
Ooh,
and then
that's a big bet. That's rolling the dice big time.
But I'm just saying, if it's good enough, that'll probably double their customer numbers.
Wait, which Warhammer series?
The one that Cavil's working on.
But it's nowhere. Last year, at the end of the year, the last year we spent waiting for any news because it turns out some idiot signed away the rights of any and all products, and not just the rights, the profits also. and they were frantically trying to get out of that contract and get a new one. And now they are moving forward 2 or 3 years after the initial announcements.
Yeah, so they're not even in pre-production stage, correct?
Yes, they are nowhere.
Yeah, that's a bad gamble.
They're banking on 2 to 3 years minimum before it even comes out, much less gains enough traction to start generating revenue. And again, I know what I sell is completely different, but I look at the way they handle stuff and I'm like, holy hell, if it was any other company, they would have crashed a long time ago.
Yeah.
And all this is assuming that they're not going to pull first season of this show is mediocre, and then second season onward is utter dog shit.
Which is possible.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
We could end up with another Witcher.
The sophomore album always sucks. Remember that, because people spend their entire lives building that first album or that first show, and then they got to rush to get the second one out because of how hot it is, and it's just never as good.
And not saying Cavill won't do his best, but he's only going to have so much say, and at the end of the day, it's going to be the people with the money.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And even if the first season is freaking phenomenal and amazing, if Cavill manages to deliver and make something good, you're going to have so many jackasses try to stick their fingers in the pie for season 2 to get their name involved, and they're and they're not going to let Cavill do what Cavill does best, be the God King of the nerds. They're going to try to make sure their version is had. And so even if the first season's good,
the purple-haired weirdo. Oh my God, Both! I just had this wonderful idea. I can't believe nobody's thought of this. Female Space Marines. And all you'll hear is coming from.
Yes, I mean, just look at the shit that Amazon in-house produces.
Oh God!
Not the contracted and the
show.
Oh God!
We can do built-in advertising, right? Where we have a bunch of purple skin guys running around stealing everybody's Levi's, and we'll call them gene stealers.
I think somebody just had an aneurysm.
I think we all did.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't know who just said it, but somebody. That's what's going on, and I've kind of changed my stance with this whole Gamergate thing that's happening right now.
Wait, don't tell me you're on their side now.
No, absolutely not.
I was going to slap you.
Tell me you're Anita Sarkeesian in drag.
No, absolutely not.
Are you a Sarkeesian simp?
No, never have been. But
she's not even remotely attractive. She can't pull like a Brie Larson or an AOC where she's at least mediocre at minimum. She's not.
There's somebody out there that's got like every picture of her in the spank bank.
There's also people out there who like Ellie from The Last of Us 2.
That's what I'm saying. Don't ever doubt pathetic nature.
Don't ever doubt. Don't ever underestimate people's ability to crank it to something.
But my whole point is that people are getting it wrong. Like, their anger is directed at the wrong people. Yes, Sweet Baby Inc. is a diversity, equity, and inclusion company. We know this. Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
But they're being hired by higher-ups.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't tell me there's not somebody at EA in a position of power going, how can we improve our score? I know, we'll hire this consulting company and let them run amok.
Well, no, that's literally what they are. Their entire system has banked on, hey, it'd be a real shame if somebody reported you for not having a better ESG score. You want to fix that?
No. Just like what Anita was tweeting to CDPR.
Yeah. Well, also, when all the experts, by the way, the majority of all this BS that's been happening comes out of colleges. So your expert who has a college degree tells you, oh, well, you need to make these changes. I know some people who can help you. You bring in those people who also have college degrees, who went to college in the same place or similar institutions. Oh, well, we know these people. They're creating jobs for their fellow college students, their fellow academics. There's a guy I follow called What If Altist, and he explains this less for gaming and society as a whole. But basically, you have a bunch of academics trying to justify their existence, and one of the easiest ways to do that is make up a bunch of data, lie to someone, and have someone who doesn't care about what's going on, just make me money. and then you lie to them, and we're starting to see the point where the lie is catching up. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to think of the news company that recently, like, Arch made a video talking about them, where like
Deadspin.
Deadspin.
Where it's more cost effective to gut them alive and scatter the ashes than it is to try to salvage the company, because people are starting to realize the lies.
Well, to be fair, Deadspin shot themselves in the ass not that long ago. So.
Yeah, when they went after that kid.
Yep.
Right. And not just about the kid. Before that, when GeoMedia acquired them, there was a memo that came down that, okay, leave the politics aside, focus on the sport because we are a sport website. And all of the fucking journalists there blew a gasket because how dare the company that pays the bills tell them to do their fucking job. I mean, just look at the entertainment media landscape. Look at the gaming media landscape. Everybody wants to write some political drivel because they don't know how to write about a specific area.
Well, they don't know it. They work at Deadspin, but they know probably less about sports than I do, and man, that's saying a lot. I'll tell you.
Yes, well, I remember when there was print gaming media publication.
Nintendo Power.
and there were two big ones, and every month there was a free CD and later free DVD with demos and free games.
It was when I used to get PC something or other.
Yes,
that would always come with a disc, and I'm like,
yes,
this is, and then had demos and trials, and
I still have some of those next to me in a binder, and I remember the game test. And it wasn't the usual bullshit that you read today. It was a detailed, well, not a detailed, but there was a plot summary. There was development info, and then there was the hard technical data tested on multiple PCs, in multiple configurations, about how much you can push a set of hardware with a set of characteristics, and what kind of graphical fidelity can you expect. And also it was tested on multiple difficulties.
Look, I know.
And today we get the articles that how the mesh on the PS5 or an Xbox 360 is triggering to the journalist. Get the fuck out. I mean, that guy should have been sacked there.
The thing is, Metronoid, all that you described requires actual work.
Oh, yes.
What also has to show actual interest in the product.
Yes.
Well, here's the biggest thing, and I know a bunch of y'all can't stand Brianna Wu, but I have actually grown to give her a little bit more respect with this whole thing. Well, that, and I've actually talked to her about it.
I don't know who that is, so I take C.
Brianna Wu was one of the original Gamergate people that was in the I'm being harassed category.
Look, if you could still find it, just go look up Brianna Wu political ad.
What's a political ad?
But again,
she was running for Congress.
Why was she running for Congress?
Because she's a progressive.
All I want to say is the boyfriend dressed as Trumpzilla stomping on shit was some of the unintentionally funniest shit I've seen in a long time.
Bro, that sounds based. I'm pretty sure that just bumps Trump's numbers.
Well, that's just it. It's like she was trying to make a point. It was like, the point is you're a retard.
I mean,
anyway, Brianna Wu
has
Brianna
been the
Wu
only
Bobby
person. Wu or Brianna. I mean, I have my doubts about that.
I could care less either way.
Okay, I was just curious.
Is the only person on the progressive side that is talking about how bad the nepotism in the video games industry is.
Wow, and when they're calling it out, wow.
I know.
I mean, listen, she's calling it out after the fact, after it bit her in the ass. So,
well, I mean, you could just as easily side with all these people and still be, righteously vindicated by the entire industry. But nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about that. It all boils down to all these people are connected. And then somebody said, it may have been Wu that said this, that it is harder to get into the games industry than it is to get into the NFL. Because it's so insulated and so locked down by all these people that are just bouncing between different companies and outlets and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of academics all patting each other on the back and sniffing each other's farts.
Not just that. Just look at their Twitter bio. They're going between the various still existing publications.
Yeah, especially the journalists. You'll see on there that they have like The Verge, PC Mag, Polygon, Kotaku. They get fired from one or they leave one.
PC Gamer.
Yep. And then they move to another one.
To be honest, almost any small business, small, I say small, like for example, what I do, selling radios. Everybody there, except for me, has worked for another company. They just bounce from company to company, manufacturer to manufacturer, rep company to rep company. You know, one guy spent 45 years and has never left the parent company. He just kept going to subdivision after subdivision. They would spin off, become a company of their own, then he'd go back to corporate. So that's not uncommon, especially in a very niche world where you have to really understand a product.
My problem is that all their politics align the same.
Oh, that's because they don't have the product knowledge, they have the political knowledge.
It wouldn't be a problem if their politics align, if they could be objective.
They're not. And they can't.
and wouldn't insert their politics into effectively gaming articles that have nothing to do with politics.
But they've already told everybody that everything is politics.
Well, because they're fat.
Yeah, it's the
same. Remember, everything is racist. Everything is sexist.
Everything's political.
Everything's political.
And you have to point it all out.
And this is the moment when a good boss would fire the fucker on the spot, because that means that it's effectively not a journalist, it's a propagandist.
Yes,
and there is a big fucking difference between the two.
They're all like this. That's the problem. You fire this one, the next one's going to be just fucking like them. They're like a little clone system.
Yeah, but it makes the company liable for anything that the journalist says.
Yeah.
There's all within the U.S. the system of laws that protects journalists is the fucking mafia would be jealous of some shit like this.
Well, that's not like here, but yeah, that's disappointing.
What it literally is it boils down to they can say almost anything they want, and then they can say, "I was just doing it as a journalist."
Is that the same business that they give where it's like, oh, this TV show is comedy? It's not meant to be. It's a talk show host. It's not meant to be news.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's this whole series of laws, and they've tried to repeal it over and over, that basically protects these people and says, hey, they're journalists. They're just trying to tell you what's going on. But it's just become personality and, agenda.
That's because a lot of corporate media is backed by companies and corpos and government interests. So there's a reason why it doesn't pass is because, slip them a note and say, hey, this would be really bad if someone talked about this, or hey, can you cover this up? It was the same thing with Hunter Biden's laptop.
No.
And then when it came out afterwards, it was like, oh, I wouldn't have voted for him if I knew about that.
And you notice it's died out already?
Yep.
Beg your pardon?
It's already died as far as the general knowledge of the average voter, the normie. That's dead and gone.
Yeah.
Hunter who? What laptop? They've already moved on to something else.
And what coke in the White House?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, you guys all sound like propagandists. It's not like Mark Zuckerberg was on Joe Rogan's podcast and outright said he will ban content that the government tells him to ban. It's not like that ever happened.
That reminds me of something. I wanted to bring up the TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are cheering it on, but
I think it's bad.
Patriot 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Well, what's going on is this is a test run. If they can ban TikTok for what they say and do, then they can ban any social media. And there's one in particular, they want gone.
Truth Social.
Oh no, fuck Truth. Truth Social's minor. They want Elon's X gone.
Yeah, but they don't need this to pass that. That Biden could just pass an executive order to get rid of it. He can do it already.
Except for those are covered.
It would cause a shitstorm if he came out and said, "All right, I'm getting rid of it." So they gotta slide stuff in there under the radar that.
Right.
All he needs to do is say it's
the same Elon who is building,
but he can't.
Surveillance, satellite surveillance systems for the U.S. He's okay. That isn't going anywhere.
But they're gonna do their best, if not to make it go away, but to definitely muzzle it at least till after the election.
Well, the whole point of the bill is that if there is a foreign interest like the CCP that owns this majority shareholder, it's just basically going, look, you're taking a lot of information from our citizens, and we're worried that you are going to be spying on us and stealing a lot of our information.
You can't do that to our citizens. Only we can do that to our
citizens. That's right. Also, the wording of the bill is very, very vague. Like a point that was brought up on a different stream I was on. Let's say, for instance, Elon Musk, after like the war in Ukraine is done and people are allowed to start dealing with China again. Imagine Elon Musk works with like a company in the Kremlin to start making spaceships to go to Mars, right? Like to actually start putting people on Mars. That is working with a foreign interest group. Elon Musk owns Twitter. Well, I guess that through how vague the law is, they could, at the very minimum, begin proceedings which would allow them to mess with Twitter in some capacity, with the precedent of TikTok is not directly controlled by the CCP, but it is influenced by affiliates of the CCP.
Do not think all this shit from Don Lemon random.
I call bullshit on that. I'll tell you right now. I can go on TikTok right now and type whatever I want about the CCP. I can post Winnie the Pooh. I can do it. I can talk shit. You know what I can't talk shit about? I can't talk shit about the CIA or Israel on there. I can't post pro-Palestinian content, but I can't talk shit about China. So some company may own shares, but there's no influence. And if China wanted information, they done got it.
Didn't they report that there was more of a push for pro-Palestinian stuff than Israeli stuff?
Well, that's because Palestine is current thing and the whole colonized narrative. The freaking commies had a short circuit.
I was going to say it's the current commie war cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's basically so for the longest period of time because of the Holocaust, it was anti-Semitism bad, which I mean, yeah, it is. Anti-Semitism is bad, but that was the club that people would bludgeon people with. But the narrative of the colonizer is evil intrinsically, and the colonized is always good, is also something that has been forever in the left. But now you have a situation where you have the Jews trying not to be killed, and the Palestinians trying to, from the perspective of the leftists at least, hold on to their territory, is causing a wire cross because for years they said it's anti-Semitic to be against Israel, but if you stand with Israel, you stand with a colonizer, and the programming of colonizer bad won out in this instance.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to, be alone with my opinion, but I think banning TikTok, if they are not divested from the controlling mainland China interest, is actually a good thing.
I think giving the government the authority to ban because it's like listen. Don't think about anything that is Chinese, that is coming from mainland China, as a business venture, as an application.
I think what
think about it as Chinese soft power.
Right.
Think about the Belt and Road Initiative that they were that they were pushing for the last 20 years.
Okay. Right.
And what did they do with that? They get critical infrastructure where they wanted to for the price for the small price of crippling developing nations. What are they doing with the TikTok that is available in the West? They are pushing communist bullshit.
Yes.
They are pushing their own ideology onto us, onto impressionable retards that are effectively children.
I think one of the big concerns here, though, is the fact that the U.S. government is more, at this point, in some cases, more of a concern, how they will use the authority vested in this law.
Again, it's not that when they say that there's a bill that they're going to do one thing, there's always language in there for them to do 1,500 other things.
Yep.
Right. When both sides of the aisle are agreeing to something, you know you're about to get screwed.
Yeah, it's probably something bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, think of it this way, Metronoid. Banning unrestricted access to fully automatic weapons for anyone means that you no longer have gang members running around with Thompsons or M249s in the streets of New York. That is a good thing. We don't want gangsters running around with fully automatic weapons, gunning down people in their little gang hits. But if you establish the precedent that the government can limit firearm access in response to a crisis, okay, well, now we just generate a crisis or lie about a crisis, and now we can remove something else. Shotguns there's a new kind of flechette round that can overpierce and kill 3 or 4 people. So now a single person with a shotgun can walk into a crowded mall and come out with a body count of 600.
I mean,
we need to limit access to shotguns. And then
that sounds very familiar.
It's not like recently they haven't used a particular crisis to bring the hammer down on countries, continents of people.
Yeah. So while I do agree that TikTok is the opium crisis of America in the same way that opium was the opium crisis for China it was the early 1900s, if I'm getting my history right.
1800s, 17 to 1900s, yes.
Yeah, when the British waged a war with the Chinese to force them to continue drugging their citizens with opium.
That was the Boxer Rebellion. Before that, the British India Company made a killing about smuggling opium into China. So
yeah, exactly. TikTok is the exact same thing. It is actively weakening this country. It is effeminizing this country. It is making this country weak. For all countries in the West, I'm thinking the U.S. specifically. I apologize to foreign actors, but it is a bad thing, and we should take steps to limit it or remove it from our society, excise it like a cancer. But giving the government the ability to do it, Reagan said it best: if you ever hear we're from the government, we're here to help, you better hope they brought lubricant. Otherwise, they're using your blood for it.
Yeah, the vagueness of the wording of the bill will leave them open to do pretty much whatever they want with any social media they deem a threat. Because there's nothing in the bill that says Chinese. Exactly. It's a new Patriot Act. Exactly. It is a new Patriot Act. It will leave them open to say, well, we feel this is a threat. How? Shut up, bigot.
Yeah. Does that make sense, Metro?
Yes, it makes sense.
Now,
listen,
I'm sorry.
I think it's ultimately comes down to not how one thing is wording, and the other thing is the judicial oversight that effectively says that okay, you can do this, but you can't do that. And in some cases, I think a government has to be in some small ways a big daddy when effectively the citizens are too. It's going to sound harsh, but
too stupid to
but it's the
themselves.
Precisely. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we need to put taxes on fast food and such, but there is a reason why there is regulation regarding effectively data harvesting and call center data stealing.
Yeah, no, I absolutely.
And the Chinese influence is that same shit.
If it wasn't an election year, I'd be more inclined to agree with you.
Well, if it wasn't for the fact that our government is run by a bunch of amoral, self-serving academic aristocrats, that's fundamentally the problem. If it was a government that I knew was full of actual people who genuinely wanted to do good by their nation,
I could not agree more.
Then I wouldn't care. This would be a good thing, but it's not. These are not good and moral people. These are amoral scumbags who have no guiding compass beyond do as thou wilt and live comfortably.
You're 100% right. It would be fine if it was in the hands of somebody that could be trusted, but because it's not, and because it's in the hands of people who their self-interest is more important than looking after the citizens, then they can't be trusted, and this is bad.
Right, which is why CDAT 2024.
Fuck, y'all don't want that shit. I guarantee.
We can always vote for Badger.
I'll make me the fucking VP and see how fast it takes to implement service guarantee citizenship.
That's part of why
y'all bitch is gonna get to work.
No, honestly, that would probably fix a lot of the problems we have. Straight up, if you have Heinlein's government where non-citizens are allowed to basically do what they want as long as they don't break the law, and then you have citizens get certain benefits from, being citizens, we'd be in a better spot because the people who are actually doing stuff and are competent, or at the very least are being forced to consider the needs of others, will be the ones with power, and the self-serving freeloader aristocrats will be stuck as civilians, able to oppress the other civilians.
Yeah.
Everybody wins. The sheep get to be sheep, the sheepdogs get to be sheepdogs, and the wolves get to cull the flock.
Careful.
I think it should just be mandatory in general. It doesn't have to be military service, but it would be good if people got some discipline. If they went into the military or they went into
the problem with the military now, but then you're going to spend more time teaching them to not be retards.
And that's the thing, is that it will help them out from not being retards and hopefully give them the education that they need.
And I'm no military. CDAT knows that. CDAT knows military systems better than I do. But from what I have spoken with, and this is post-Soviet state with post-Soviet, with Soviet or post-Soviet equipment, when there was conscription in Hungary and there was a mandatory year before it was done away, the conscripts were effectively in base training, then on guard duty.
Yeah.
Because they, in their contract, weren't enough time to train them into even post-Soviet shit. And that's get a big hammer. This is the lever that makes you go forward. This is pull it backwards, it reserves, and that's it.
But
Western shit is way more complicated, requires way more training and way more and way more prep time to get somebody competent enough.
I agree with you, but I see it as it's a traineeship. So there needs to be some sort of benefit for the people that serve for those 2 years. Either that means giving them a certificate or some sort of potential to have a job at the end of it. So if they start off as a cadet in the military, and if they decide to stay, then they can go into the military.
So essentially, you want something similar to the IDF.
Or South Korea or any other country that has
mandatory.
Yes, but the thing is it doesn't need to be military. It could be other things. It could be something that benefits the community. And it needs to start with schooling, where kids take care of their own school and they keep it clean and maintained. And the
education system is a whole other problem in itself right now.
Yeah,
I agree. But there needs to be some sort of pride and self-respect in your community so that you actually take care of it, because by the end of it, when you get older, you're going to be like, hey, that piece of shit that just littered, or that person that's come into my country who isn't, playing by the rules or isn't, taking care of or having pride for the country, there's going to be a bit of, hey, ship up or ship out.
Well, that's my whole thing with the whole immigration issue that we're having here in the U.S. is that, The problem is that these progressive ran democratic cities are prioritizing the people that are coming in, right? Over people that are actual citizens.
What, Weezy?
And
Why are you saying that?
And it's shooting them in the ass because all you got to do is give somebody free money and not somebody else, and watch shit hit the fan.
But it's creating a serfdom.
Yeah, well, that's what they want. They want cheap labor.
Yeah.
It's not even cheap labor. It's so that they can go, hey, if we import all of these people, they're going to vote for me because they're not thinking about the future. They're just thinking about the now. Like if I am the one who puts my face on every billboard and every park bench and I'm saying, hey, immigration, welcome, then these people that come to the country are going to continue to vote for me, especially if I'm giving them benefits.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, though, because it is cheap labor. Because we just saw with Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods just closed a plant in Perry, Iowa, laid off 1,200, workers that have been there for decades, and are now opening up a factory in New York, in a sanctuary state, and they're looking to hire 56,000 illegals for $16.50 an hour plus benefits. So you're killing a union, right? So you're killing a union.
Is this like a Target?
No,
it's food.
Tyson's Food. They're chicken processor.
Okay.
So,
well, chicken, I said in quotations. They're like mutant, one-legged freaks that never see the light of day.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Sorry for cutting you off, man. Or Derek.
oh no, you're fine. But it is happening. They are doing it for cheap labor, and we're seeing it. So.
And as far as the thing goes, going back to the training, kind of brings up a very side point. But I don't know if any of you saw that video of supposedly the first M1 lost in combat.
What?
Yes.
How?
Ukrainian crew.
Ukrainian.
It was sitting still, and I don't know if it was a enemy round or it was a missile that smoked it, but all of a sudden you just saw it hit, and you saw crew bailing, and then you saw these flames shooting out of the vehicle. Now, there's a very good chance they'll just leave that thing there. Like I said, it wasn't even moving, which makes me wonder, what in the fuck were you doing? But the skill required to not only fight the M1, but maintain it is the reason there aren't a lot of M1s sold as exports. You either have to have a country that has the technical know-how, the money, and the parts, or you're going to have to hire people. That's what worries me a little bit about the Poles. Not that they're stupid, not that they're incompetent. I don't think they can afford to have those son of a bitches. They're expensive, horribly expensive to work once.
Well, as people flee the rising Turkestan and Kazakhstan and other stands that are forming from the corpses of France, Germany, Switzerland, all those other places, you will see people fleeing to Poland, where it is not turning into a Turkestan. And
but like I said, just
that will raise tax revenue.
Yeah, but even then, just the knowledge base. And I'm watching this, and everybody's going, "Oh my God, oh God, ha ha ha! Americans, your great tank just died." And I'm going, there's flames shooting out of the rear end of it, or out of the top of it. For those that know something about the M1, that's called the ammo blowout system.
And one of the things you're not seeing real quick is too, since you brought up Poland, their new liberal president, who got voted in, has already got that you're not seeing a lot of is his own farmer revolt now because of the policy he's trying to enact. So it's like this lockstep thing to try to kill privatized industry. So.
Yeah,
that's going on in Poland, and they're not showing it to you. The Poland's border is now open, whereas 6 months ago, before their election, they were closed, and we got to see
shit cannons on people.
Yeah, not anymore. So it's open, and they're getting overrun. So
interesting.
I'll take back what I said about the Polish. Then they're going to fall soon, unless they can recover the spirit of Spartans.
Listen, the Polish liberals are still conservative by American standards. What the farmers effectively protesting is the influx into the market of Ukrainian cheaper Ukrainian goods that that effectively depress their own prices and makes them operate at or near a loss. And this has been a problem in all of Europe, in all of the markets. I mean, the last month and end of last year in Germany, there were big farmer demonstrations because the Green government wanted to do away the tax break on the diesel the farmers use. And they wanted to tax them as every road user.
Green Party,
the farmers
that's the
protest.
environmentalists, right?
Yes. The Green.
Okay, just making sure I know the terminology. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Being an idiot.
And they protested, and there was some shit, and then the coalition government shit itself and waved the white flag of France. So this is a problem. This is an ongoing issue, but the polls are not going to be the rainbow flag waving liberals as you fear. Yes, there are that elements of the society in the cities, in the liberal intelligentsia, and some in the government, but they are effectively not a majority. They are a minority, and it will stay a minority because despite the trends, the polls are still church-going Catholics looking to Rome.
Okay.
And they don't really like the current South American Pope. So
Does anybody?
Well, I can understand that part.
I didn't know that. Poland was largely Catholic.
Oh yeah, they are like one of the last, like, what I call super Catholic countries.
Mhm.
So
60+% still actively church going.
Weren't they Protestant during the Reformations, or am I getting my map of Europe messed up?
No. Poland's been Catholic since Catholic was a thing, pretty much.
Okay, gotcha.
Since they were last, they went basically pagan to Catholic with no stop.
And I don't know it's a Polish or a Catholic superpower, but they burned Moscow down multiple times. So
I know Poland, Lithuania was Russia before Russia was a thing, and that the Poles had hard mode when they spawned in Europe. That's all I know about Poland. That and the Winged Hussars.
Yes, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was a thing, and it ruled a lot of present-day Russia and Poland for a short time.
And held suzerainship of the modern Ukraine Cossack region.
But and thanks to Metronoid, he helped steer me. I started doing some reading on my own, and a lot of the stuff coming out of Poland, I think, is getting twisted, whether it's linguistics or on purpose. They haven't gone like full woke, and I don't think they ever will. So there might be some stuff in the cities, but at the end of the day, when it gets outside of the cities, the people are like, yeah, you just say what you want, guys. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, just they voted in the new coalition liberal government because the previous government, the PIS or the PIS, yes,
the piss party, yeah.
They were effectively so fucking much blowhards, the worst. In this regard, I think we can chalk them up as the worst stupid neocons you can have. That even the polls said that, okay, this is too much. I mean,
we can't take any more piss party. Just too much piss.
Yes. I mean, how to put it? Just think about abortion. I know it's a contentious issue. In Poland, it's, I think, heavily regulated, but still legal. But not in the third trimester, and I think in the second is also just medically. And also, or first and the second, and from the second on, I don't know, but it's still legal to have an abortion in Poland. Was or is, and the last gambit, I think we can say, of the Kaczynski government was they were trying to make it absolutely illegal. And I'm not going to make a value judgment on that, but this led to multiple high-profile deaths when the child was effectively killing its mother in the womb, and the doctors were afraid to perform an abortion until there was no heartbeat. And in multiple cases, the women died. Jeez. And also there were multiple high-profile cases when homemade abortions with a coat hanger were unsuccessful, and the women bled out. And also there were cases when, and there was a rising number of cases when wealthy women went to neighboring Germany or into one of the Scandinavian countries to effectively pay for the abortion there. And that was the last straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, like you said, it's a contentious issue. It's I don't know. It's
very much so.
For people that are like, oh well, there's an easy answer. No, there isn't. There's not an easy answer.
Yes, I mean, if you want to, I don't know, it's a case-by-case basis, I think, that you have to look at everything, and also it's best if both of the parents are involved in the process.
Very much so, yeah.
In my opinion. Because otherwise it's, and this is why I think us Europeans have to pay attention to what goes on in America, because what happens in your neck of the woods will turn up in 2 to 3 years.
Well, remember, if we sneeze, the rest of the world catches a cold. So
yes, and I dread the moment when the argument that it's just healthcare and my body, my choice comes up here, because that's when real shit is going to go down.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me how much like socialist propaganda we get from Europe, yet our child murdering is significantly worse than Europe's. Like, it's kind of crazy to me.
It's because we improve on it.
Yeah, we've turned it into a money-making system.
I was saying that it's something that was imported from France originally, and then America improved on it.
Which is crazy, because even France is like, if it's got, like, I think even France is like, if it's got a heartbeat, no.
Correct. That's what I mean by America just, not making.
Wait, are we the Germans now? The Germans imported a lot of evil stuff from American writers.
The baddies?
Well, I didn't say that. I said these are Germans this time around.
Hans, are we the baddies? I mean, we have skulls on our hats. I love that skit. I can never not watch it and laugh.
So I was paying attention. I just wasn't.
Am I a bad person?
Uh,
I think some people.
Well, if you really want to look at the a good insight to the state of abortion in America, look up some of the comments made by Margaret Sanger.
Oh yeah, who she liked?
Yeah,
who
the
she
chick who
liked?
founded Planned Parenthood and put it in predominantly black neighborhoods because, well,
they don't like to talk about
she
that.
Succeeded.
Yeah,
she did succeed. More black babies are aborted than they are born in America in some places.
For some reason, she's celebrated by the progressives.
Dude.
Same reason John Money is celebrated.
Literally, a former recruiter for the Ku Klux Klan was heralded by 3 separate Democrat politicians. Okay, when he died. So
we talking about David Duke?
No, we are talking about William Byrd.
Yes.
Yes, the man from my family's home state, which doesn't fill me with a lot of love and concern, but yes, Mr. Byrd was heralded by Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and there was somebody else that was saying how great he was. What a great man he was. It's like, dude was literally the grand cyclops of the Ku Klux Klan.
Was it?
No, God damn it!
The Kunduz Hospital.
And you got to understand, in the state of West Virginia, everything is named after this man.
Get up, go, cat. Go.
The Byrd, the Byrd shit house, the Byrd hospital, the Byrd school, the Byrd sanctuary. It doesn't matter. Half the state's got his damn name on it. So,
and then if you want to look up another name progressives don't like bringing you up, look up Leo Frank.
I'm trying to remember. The name's familiar, but I can't remember what it was associated with.
Indirectly responsible for founding the ADL.
Oh, yeah, because that's a really trustworthy bunch right there.
Yeah, long story short, he raped and murdered a 13-year-old girl, tried to dispose of it in a factory furnace, was caught red-handed, tried to blame a black factory worker. He was convicted, sentenced to death, but during the trial, a bunch of lawyers from Chicago had taken up his defense. The judge, who had previously worked with those lawyers, commuted the sentence to life. The people were pissed about that, and he was lynched. Later, and people will say, "Oh, he was posthumously pardoned," only because when he was pardoned, it was part of a big batch of pardonings of lynched people because the police failed to protect them, not because he wasn't guilty.
Gotcha.
And those lawyers, those aforementioned lawyers, went on to found the ADL.
Jesus.
Remember,
mind you, these
wild hogs. This could have all been avoided.
Speaking of ADL,
did you guys hear
Did you guys hear the audio this week? Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the ADL, going on about how they don't have a left-right problem. They have a young-old problem because American youth are using TikTok and they're not. They're pro-Palestine. Israel's losing support.
Well, I saw the ADL trying to get involved in this Gamergate bullshit.
Dude.
Oh, that was funny.
Department of Homeland Security got involved.
I was just
saw that, right?
Say that.
How many?
Yeah.
What's the current count on the community notes being up and taken back down on the ADL's tweet now? What is it, 3?
I have no idea, but
yeah, I've lost track.
I don't pay attention to the Anti-Defamation League, so I don't know.
I'm just saying they stuck their nose in it, and then
I'm just wondering what does it have to do with them?
Nothing.
Okay, but I mean, even they usually have some sort of link to it.
It has to do with control and the ability to manipulate information. Gaming, like films, books, comics, is a method of information transfer and cultural continuation. It contains mythological stories like the story of the Master Chief, the story of
Sorry, not
I
you.
don't think
Oh,
that's really the case. I think that's the same issue with gaming journalists. The ADL, the NAACP, and all these civil rights organizations had their time and place in history. From the 1900s, the suffragettes, up until the civil rights movement. And maybe some of the gay stuff. But I think we can argue that in the West, in the Western cultural hemisphere, we effectively achieved equality. Because you should be judged based on your contributions and based on your attitudes, and not on descriptors that you have no control over.
Okay, the ADL involvement is because hate is no game. And there's hate going on, and it's directed at specific people, not anybody by race.
They have to justify their existence.
Yeah, exactly. Remember,
there is hate. There absolutely is hate. It's just the people they side with. People like Shane, people like Bits, people like Serb. Their freaking useful idiot brown shirts are the people spreading hate. They poke and poke and poke, and when they poke the bear enough and they get a reaction from someone like CDAT or Metro or me, then they come in and go, no, we have a jackass problem.
So there's a I'm sure the older among us have heard this saying or some variation of it. I'm not sure if say like because I've only heard it in the context of America, so I'm not sure if Metro Knight's heard it. Not sure if you've heard it, Shadow. But it goes something along the lines of the problem with bureaucracy is that it will always justify its existence. And and all of these civil rights groups, for the most part, have become bureaucracies. So, and it's the problem that it's part of the double-edged sword of a Senate or a Congress as well.
Yeah, it's the same with what are they called? The people you give money to, and they go, "Oh, I'll help cancer."
Charity.
Charity.
It's the same with foundations, charities.
There's a few that actually do good work, but unfortunately, that good work is predicated on, like, say, for example, one that it had its problems, but a lot of that's been corrected. Is St. Jude's Children's Hospital, but even though they do good work, it's basically patching the disingenuous disingenuous and exploitative. Oh, we can't cure cancer because that won't make us money.
Yeah, exactly.
So
in some cases, it's produce the problem so that you can sell the solution.
Yeah, I mean, there are good charities out there, but again, especially medically, they're only necessary because somebody else is exploiting the issue.
Yeah, I agree.
So
you got to think at the end of the day.
Want to go back to the war?
Someone's pushing something.
Sorry,
pardon?
What?
I wouldn't want to go back to the days where governance was decided by who's got the biggest stick and who's got more guys behind them, because I think that would rapidly solve a lot of problems.
No, because then you're just gonna have warlords and people.
Dude, it's called the United States. We got the biggest stick. Okay, so we call the shots. It hasn't changed.
You're gonna have
It would be nice if
a barbecue coming over from Haiti.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you love how DeSantis has got basically a fleet out there fucking trying to put the stop on that shit.
Ugh.
The fucking fleet, the Haitian fleet's coming in. It's like,
Did you see DeSantis attack with TikTok this week?
Yeah.
That was fucking stupid. That whole thing was dumb.
It
was like this is just people arguing just because.
Everybody's trying to jump onto the bandwagon.
Oh, he took his headphones off.
Yeah, no, I have another unpopular opinion on Haiti. So
Sure.
I just think.
I have an unpopular opinion too.
An unpopular
no,
opinion would
mine.
be it's an excellent, safe place.
No, my
just
opinion
ask
is
Paula.
This is a safe space. You can share your opinion freely.
It's a safe space.
Yeah, no, it's I just find it amusing as hell that the leader of a cannibal gang is nicknamed Barbecue.
Barbecue 2024, motherfuckers.
But have you noticed that the mainstream media are trying to justify it by saying he's not? Have you noticed that the mainstream media is like, oh, but he's not. He's doing it out of fear. He's not doing it to consume it. Like he puts it in his mouth and he chews it, but he doesn't consume it.
Well, literally, you have organizations out there going. The only you know what the worst thing about everything's going on in Haiti? The alt-right talking about it. I'm like, how can we not talk about it? Are you fucking?
How can we not talk about the fact that the first thing the Haitian state did, the first act they did, their first act as a free colony, as a free state and independent entity, was the brutalization of women and children in acts so unspeakable. I will not say them because I don't want Combat Channel being taken down.
But I'm saying even now, I mean, they're literally their complaint is. Well, this has got the alt-right talking about black people.
It's like,
it's a population. Talking about it?
It's a population that were set back to Stone Age logic in regards to how they interact with each other, but you gave them firearms. And because people keep trying to go in and fix the problem, but they do it half-assed, you have the same reset consistently happening, only each time, instead of muskets, they're now doing it with AK-47s and flamethrowers.
But black people,
until
you're talking
Haiti is
about
allowed to
black people, you fucking bigot.
Yes. just like I'll call out African tribes for mutilating women's those regions.
Oh, what was it? What was it? There's a. I don't follow the Resident Evil, but apparently they're redoing Resident Evil 5.
Oh, IGN being fucking
and because it's in Africa, they're like, you showing black people as zombies, and you're encouraging right wingers to shoot them.
But
yes.
What are the options? What are the options? Do you whitewash the zombies, in which case you're erasing black people? Do you remove the zombies, in which case it's not that type of game? Or do you save them as a white guy, which becomes a white savior complex?
It's the
correction, white guy with a black partner. You forget about what's
it's a white guy dies at the beginning and the black person takes over. I like this. Let's fund it. Let's get some ESG money.
It's always the racially ambiguous, not white person, but kind of Hispanic-looking lead male with the black girlfriend.
I have to bring up. Is anybody else, or is it just me watching the Shogun remake?
Nope.
No,
okay. I am. It's actually it's very, very well done and very, very loyal to the book. It is not woke. It is not weird. It is not.
Wait, is that that's the same one that that journalist was trying to bitch about, saying that there's no black people in it?
People. Yes, there's no black people in 1600 Japan. I did have to reply. Somebody said, "Where are the black people in Shogun?" I said, "Africa." Africa. And I got a 24-hour ban.
Black people were like never heard of in Japan, to the point where when Yasuke, like the guy who was hired by Oda Nobunaga as a retainer, they thought he was Indian because they had not even seen Indians.
No, they thought that his skin was covered in ash and oil.
Originally,
and they tried to rub his skin.
So he was an asshole. Sorry, that was bad.
And the other funny part is that the entertainment media and the Afrocentrist community tries to sell a fucking retainer, effectively a page boy, as a fucking samurai.
Yeah.
Wasn't
he kind of a clown? He was basically
he was a porter that would just carry around his armor and weapons.
He was a novelty.
Yeah, so a squire.
I've heard some different things, and From my understanding of the period, it was significantly, because they needed more meat for the grinder, it was significantly easier to be a samurai.
Yeah.
And he was a landowner because he was given like land. And then some other minor criteria were met where for the time period he was a samurai. He was not a bushi, which is the noble class, but he was a individual who could be classified as a samurai.
But it's just
in a time
hilarious
when
watching.
retainer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hilarious
well, yeah, exactly, he
watching
was a
them try to come up with this, you know. And how come women don't have a larger role? And I'm like, y'all have no
It's
idea what's
historical.
going on, right?
Because none of these people know their history, so they would rather rewrite history than actually, talk about history.
No, I would definitely recommend the show because again, it sticks very close to the Clavel book, and it's because if you've seen the 1980 one, the one that had what was his name, Chamberlain in it. It was very much from the white guy point of view because they didn't figure modern audiences would give a shit about the point of view of the Japanese. This one, he's like a secondary character, man. This is all about all the political intrigue and all the weird shit going on in the Japanese courts. So definitely worth watching. If you have Hulu.
Please, no spoilers. My dad and I are going to watch it first chance I get to go home.
I'm sorry, but the Japanese guy gets killed. I don't know how to ruin that.
Which one? They all look the same.
Oh, okay. Damn, somebody's trying to take over Metronoid's job.
I mean,
wait, I'm sorry.
I feel I just have to turn it up a little bit, but
No.
No.
no, it's
I'm sorry for taking your job, man. I'm sorry.
no problem at all.
Gerbs.
No problem at all. I mean, it's very interesting to me because, for me, based on conversations, and I think knowing your history is very important. And from even very near history, we can make some big conclusions. And one of the things is you can't civilize people. And for Western style democracy to work, you need some kind of cultural intelligence for in the majority of the populace to have for the institutions to work.
Can't civilize those people.
I think it
Like,
depends
an
because
example of
there
that
is the
is in-
stories of that little girl that was found deep in the forest and she couldn't even speak. Even
I
years
don't
later,
don't
it
talk
was
about
just, like,
individual
angry,
basis.
hungry.
I think he's
I don't
talking
talk.
about people
I
in
don't talk about.
societies.
I talk about societies. I mean, just look at
okay.
what happened with Iraq. Not the the American invasion, but the aftermath. The Americans tried to instill a Western style of institutional system.
We use
And
strategery to try to introduce democracy.
And it fucking
Well,
failed because
and
the
it
people
fucking
didn't
failed.
understand how the system works. It didn't have the necessary infrastructure to educate its populace and make it work. And right now, it's effectively an Iranian proxy.
Yeah.
And also look at Africa. We have
Can we not?
states that have never been colonized, states that
Can we not?
have been colonized but have been given back to
Freudian
not the
slip.
Flip right
Yes.
there, boy.
yes to the natives, and also we have states that have been founded by former slaves from America, and all of them can be classified in one form or the other as a failed state.
One of my favorite guilty pleasures in life is going on social media and finding Afrocentristic accounts. Or as we like call the We Was Kangs.
Those people
They're
put fucking
hilarious, man.
They put white nationalism to shame.
But they're so funny.
But it's because it's funny because it's batshit. That's why.
It is.
I mean, just
them.
look at South Africa. That country had nuclear weapons.
Why can't we recognize the
functioning army?
The richest African ever. How come we can't recognize that man?
Mm-hmm.
No.
And
Elon Musk.
I mean, Idi Amin
I think
would.
Musa still has more money than him, and it's because he made his money off slavery and gold.
But but one of my personal favorite right now is an entire account, and I'm having a right now good-natured debate with them that Julius Caesar was black.
Ugh.
Now, and
No,
I'm a bit of a Roman history nerd, so I'm having all kind of fun with this one.
He wasn't blonde. Like modern white. So the Romans would refer to what we identify as modern white as blonde. So no, he was not blonde. He was white by the standards of Rome.
No.
And
He was African black. That's the whole point. There's
was
not even
Ethiopian,
shades. They're not even
Yeah,
shades.
just like Cleopatra, the
Cleopatra was
Phoenician
black.
Greek
The
was black
Carthaginians were
because
black. Yeah, everybody was
Yes.
black.
yes.
Everybody
Yes,
in the
I mean,
Mediterranean.
Japanese were black.
Japanese were black.
I mean,
Oh
if-
yeah, the original Japanese were black. That's one of my other favorites.
You know, one of my
I mean,
favorite things
just-
is it's like if you believe their story, right? If you believe that all of history was like the Celts, the original Saxons, the Franks, the Romans, the original Japanese, like everyone was black. What you were telling me is that the people who built up everything, who made civilization what it was, were so pathetic that when a small tribe of people came out of the Caucasus with whips, they conquered everything in a matter of decades and erased everything you ever did.
Well,
like that.
This entire
That is not
discussion
alone. That is
started.
just describing how pathetic your people are. So, which one is it?
This entire discussion was that the Roman roads were actually an black African invention, and that whites came and erased them in any country south of Sub-Sahara. Well, then why don't we find any roads? I said, because the Romans didn't go to Sub-Saharan Africa, dumbass.
You also got to remember too
Well,
that
Ethiopia,
they're finding
because
they just found archaeological proof that Lucy, the oldest known person that originated in Africa. I think they found older remains in France or Belgium or something.
Yeah, they're still dating them, but yeah, there's a lot of contention in that world too. But that literally that somehow whites pierced all the way down into Sub-Saharan Africa and obliterated the Roman roads. I said, then why aren't we even seeing the roadbeds from satellite view? I mean, we see stuff all the time from satellite that's long buried, but somehow
that shit.
We
that shit sticks around unless you actually go through a deliberate effort to erase those marks. That shit shows up
exactly
from aerial and satellite view for thousands of years.
And it's so funny.
But even then, if you don't do it right, you'll just basically have like wide trackways,
straight, perfectly. Because remember, the Romans couldn't build a curve. So,
isn't this how they discovered the Aztecs with LiDAR and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you also got to remember the Romans built roads that are still standing today, but I can't get a bunch of fucking engineers from Harvard to stop potholes.
Well, no,
I mean, just think back.
The unions.
I mean, just think back how why are the train tracks and the roads so wide today?
The cart width on the road, because if you measure the width of the cart runnels on the roads, you're going to find pretty much train track width.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because if you go to a lot of Eastern countries like Russia, the train tracks are a different width, or at least they used to be. They might not be now, but they used to be. I think
they still different. They still different, and on the eastern borders. So I think.
So the places that Rome never really pierced into, amazingly enough, have different gauge rails. I wonder was Imogene.
Because Australia bought all of these trains from India, and we spent, I think it was like billions of dollars on all of these brand spanking new trains. They finally arrived 2 years after arrival date when they were supposed to be here, and they don't fit our train tracks. So then we had to send them all back so that they could be fixed.
Refit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's odd. You'd think India would have, since the Indian rail lines were laid down by the Brits. So it's interesting.
See, Dan, are you implying that the Indian nationalists claim that they did everything and the British never actually colonized them is a lie?
Well, it's right up there with the claim that the Windrush generation is actually who rebuilt England after World War II, even though. So I'm just picturing all these people squatting in bombed out buildings going, man, you know what I want? I wish they'd get a bunch of black people in here to fix this shit.
I wish we had some naan bread while the bombs are dropping.
Naan bread's fire.
It will be when the bombs drop.
Yeah, which would you rather have? Naan bread or fucking your country back?
I mean, I'd rather have an MRE.
Good. You get the vomit. You can have all the fucking vomit ones, you piece of shit.
Well, no, like all the videos coming out of Palestine complaining.
Oh yeah, the expired MREs. And Badger and I are going.
There's one guy that there was a comment that was like, "Oh, this is like a Canadian tourist," and I cannot unsee it with just how clean and how clean he is and how he's talking. He looks like he's vlogging from Canada, and he's like crackers, applesauce.
Yeah.
And by the way, I had to pay for this, so it was airdropped for free, but I still had to pay for this. Thank you, America. And I'm just sitting here like.
How's that America's problem?
That's your own local population fucking over its own people, so obviously you aren't as united as you say you are. And also, you're dissing MRE applesauce. I've had that before. It's good. Fuck you.
Could be worse. Could be pork patties.
Oh, I never had that.
Ham
slices. I mean, listen, Muslims can eat pork for multiple reasons. One is if nothing else is available, and other is if they want to fool the invaders and they can eat if they don't know that it's pork. Sorry, not the invaders, the infidels.
I have heard that argument.
Why are they even bitching about MREs during Ramadan anyway?
Well, they still eat.
What? No, they don't.
Yes. Listen. In European Muslim communities, they keep the Ramadan, but Allah doesn't see if they are under the roof. Allah doesn't see if they are not in a Muslim country. Allah doesn't see for any other reason they can think of.
Because of your accent, and they it sounds like you're saying Olaf, and I keep picturing this little snowman. Sorry.
I mean, listen, I'm perfectly fine not being able to say this bullshit pedophile's name because, well, unfortunately because I have very little respect for marrying 9-year-olds and
Metronoid's going for that. I'm going to get blown up speedrun.
Yeah, he is.
He waited for her to be 12. Don't diss the man. He had a little bit of patience.
Ew.
Yes, I mean,
I'm not buying that. Ew.
I mean, listen, the Abrahamic religions coming out of the desert were effective controls for their native tribes, and that's all.
Hater.
We have to be honest about that.
Hater.
Because the Old Testament was effectively the priest class control over the Jewish tribes, and the Quran is an effective control over the Muslims, the immediate Muslims surrounding Muslim tribes of Muhammad and the conquered ones. Hater. So I would say yes, hater, most definitely.
That's why I love Metronoid, man. You throw it at me, he's like, I don't fucking care.
Yes, listen, I'm no European. European. I don't give a fuck. I worked for a very long time in aviation, and I see what DEI is doing and what the corporate structure is doing and corporate governance in a very safety conscious industry. So I have very little regards to sugarcoat the bullshit.
Look, sugar on shit is still shit.
Precisely.
Or as we used to say when I was growing up, you know that little white speck on the top of a mound of chicken shit? That's still chicken shit. Still chicken shit. Yeah. Don't matter if you on top.
In America. Is that like? Can we get more people with his opinions in America? Like send all our academics who want communism a communist country, and can we just get Metronoid and like other people like Metronoid here?
There is nothing funnier than watching an American pseudo-communist argue with somebody that actually lived under it, because you're just sitting there with this look of like, are you fucking serious?
Yes,
are you literally telling them?
And the answer is yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Oh, by the way, Metro, when you come to the U.S., could you bring me a copy of I, Inquisitor from Poland, please?
It probably won't be in English.
I know it won't be in
I will
English, but I
try.
still want a copy because the summary sounds awesome.
I will try. What is that?
Basically, it is an alternate history where instead of Jesus Christ coming to teach turn the other cheek, he teaches the way of the sword. And Christianity is forever altered by that.
I fucking love that. That's
great.
amazing.
That looks some shit I learned in Catholic school. Okay.
Oh, and what's really what makes me really mad is it only just got a game adaptation, so I'm gonna have to wait 2 more games before we get the 3rd one that makes it popular enough in the West for the fucking book to get translated to English.
I'm sorry, that's fucking hilarious. I want the movie of that, man.
I want to either speak Polish or I want an English translation.
The Bible
one of those
2.
two. I'll take either.
The Bible 2. Jesus is back. He's pissed.
No. It's literally like the original Bible, but the deviation occurs with instead of showing charity and humility and kindness, he basically he does what the Muslims do, and instead starts killing people until they convert.
You know what it reminds me of? See that? Do you remember that movie Last Action Hero?
Yes.
Remember he's in the movie, and one of the fake movie trailers is Hamlet, but it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's fucking killing everyone.
He's fucking shooting everybody.
That's what that reminds me of.
It really does. Oh my god, that's.
Yeah.
What video are you working on? Oh, he's ignoring me.
Who?
You. I asked what mini you're working on.
Oh, the night armigers that I just bought today.
Nuggets. Watch how you say that.
But it's
say careful.
It's been a pain in the ass because I've dropped.
Fuck.
Yeah, because some of these pieces are literally like microscopic, and every time I try and get it where it's supposed to go, it goes fucking flying off into the ether.
I mean, it would help, I think, if you would make some room on your table to do this thing.
I'm not at my actual hobby desk. I'm sitting at my streaming desk. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bitching as much.
I used to.
Oh, I wish I had 2 desks.
Yeah, I've got my hobby desk with all my paint and shit.
Paint and shit. A very lovely combination.
Yep.
Hey, I mean, listen, if you're lucky, you can bling the stuff that you are losing onto the painting desk.
Don't you know the secret to make anything sound ghetto is to add "and shit" at the end of it? I like stamp collecting and shit.
And
instantly make it ghetto.
Yep.
And ain't nobody more ghetto than Weezy.
I mean, I found it. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yes, I mean, we see that you died very, very fast under the table for some reason.
I did it like 5 times
3
already.
or 4 times.
I mean, this is even better if you have a thick wool carpet under your desk.
Oh, you want to do this shit in hard mode, huh?
Well, I just wanted to see what it looked like, because I've never put one of these together, and I still have like my big ass one sitting over there that I haven't even touched.
Big ass fry.
Oh, I've got one. I bought a couple of pre-made. My boss made her husband toss out a bunch of his Warhammer stuff, and I bought it for like $20.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Damn, she's still alive?
Well, that's a good reason for a divorce.
That's
no. I legitimately think it may have been like, because she's also a nerd. Like the amount of money she's expressed spending on like Lord of the Rings stuff, it's like I don't think she made him get rid of it. I think it was like, I don't really know, but I got 2 armigers out of it.
He got caught doing something,
along with a patrol of Drukhari, a patrol of Tau, a bunch of Stormcast Eternals I'm never going to use because fuck the Sigmarines.
He got caught doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing.
I think there is
In
there
my
are very
defense, she
expensive
just told me
vet
she was going to sell them to me. My brother and I went to pick them up. When she said $20, I was expecting like patrol, a small army. I wasn't expecting 2 full fucking cases of shit.
Ooh, yeah,
For
he
$20.
fucked up bad. He got caught.
Yeah.
I wonder what
He got caught banging her sister or something, or her mom. One of the two.
No, I think
God, for
it's
some
Poor
shit,
dad.
man. Oh, right, yeah, really? You really had to go there, man. You really had to go
No,
there.
she was selling it for what he told her he bought it for.
Oh. Yeah, but if she's a nerd, she would know better.
Yeah,
I mean, she was more of like a book nerd than like a miniatures nerd, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
you still kind of get a feel of what's.
I wonder if it was one of those situations where he was taking over the house and there was an argument and he just went, okay, I'll get rid of some stuff so that you can have more of the house.
Be it, they did live in an apartment, so that might be part of it.
yeah, because my wife and I, we're gonna end up moving here pretty soon. Because we've been here 10 years in this apartment. And
That's pretty good.
my space has started to become kind of like everybody's space. So she was like, "We're gonna move. We're gonna get like a 3-bedroom house, and you're gonna get an entire room for your Warhammer shit." And I'm like, "All right, let's go."
You'll finally notice what Badger's laughing at.
Huh?
Maybe you find, like, when you're unpacking everything, you'll notice what Badger's laughing at.
Dude, I've given up. He messaged me the other day, and I was just like, I swear to God, if you're fucking with me about this, like the shit on the desk, like I will not forgive you. I still don't know.
I mean,
I've given up. I have no idea what it is.
It's right there. It's right there.
There's nothing. There's nothing over here that looks out of the ordinary to me at all.
Maybe that's the problem.
I can't see that. He can't see that giant dildo on his desk.
No, I always make sure to put that one away before we start.
Smart man, smart. Who
Yeah,
was that
like-
streamer that got
Yeah, you
busted
don't want the-
for having his cleaner come in? And she's like, "Oh, I also cleaned your vase," and it was like a bong or something.
Oh.
And there was also a dildo that was on display while he was streaming because the cleaner had moved the bong and the dildo.
Wasn't that
Accidentally.
XQC?
I was
Was
about to
it
say, wasn't that
XQC?
XQC?
It must have been.
I think it was
The
XQC
only thing I
because
know
he's the
about
one that.
That
The only thing about that man I know is the Meat Canyon video, and it is glorious.
What the fuck is the? Maybe I don't want to know.
You don't want to with a name like that. Don't ask.
Whenever you hear the name Meat Canyon before anything else, if you just hear Meat Canyon or Meat Canyons, prepare to be traumatized. Prepare to be afraid.
I am deathly afraid.
Listen,
already
XQC is a low functioning internet autist, so who is also French Canadian, so that says a lot.
Has anybody made one of
Also,
these things?
Which
No.
ones?
What's your
The
question?
Little Knights?
Am I supposed to glue the head in? Like that?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I don't
We
know.
never glue the head.
But if you don't glue the head, you can move it around.
I think
I think it's
I
magnets.
magnetized mine.
So I don't think I'm going to glue the head.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't glue the head in.
This
This
is
is it.
this is one of those times that I wish Badger was here because Badger would know.
I'll say his name 3 times and it'll summon him.
Badger, Badger, Badger.
Mushroom.
Hey, Badger.
Like,
Marines
it's like
ain't got
Beetlejuice,
a
you gotta
hair
spell
on
the
their
whole thing.
ass, motherfucker. 5, 4, 3.
It's like Beetlejuice or a pimp named Slickback. You got to say the whole thing.
That's terrifying.
No. It's a pimp named Slickback. You say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest.
Wouldn't it be easier just to call you Slickback?
I'm not finishing the rest of that. You're trying to get me canceled.
Fucking damn it! See, I've got 2 people in my D&D group that could say the word. Well, I wish at least one of them was in here.
I mean, okay.
What?
There was a point in time when I used to say that word.
He's like, what word? I can say a lot of words, Metronoid's like,
yeah, no, I'm not giving Metronoid ammo here. The word
I
with
think I
an
know
A.
the word, but
It's a synonym for Numidian.
Was it Niglet?
What?
Fucking say it, Cornelius.
Oh god.
What?
Wait,
leave it.
he's
Leave it to the
Australian.
Aussie to not give a shit.
He's Australian. It's okay. He doesn't know.
the funniest shit about this is there is a comedy skit about it, for black comedian talking with a sign language interpreter, and there is signing for Niglet.
Is it?
Yes.
That's amazing. It was probably invented because it was used so much, and it was like, oh, gotta have something.
But there's a point to what I was going to say, and that is,
Sorry.
before we got sidetracked, is that the people that I used to hang out with, right, which my group was diverse. Black, Asian, Mexican, almost no white people. And I'm not even fully white, so I can't say that we're white people.
Fucking racist.
But, and this is, early 2000s? Everybody used to say that fucking word. Everybody. Like, every other word was that word.
Which
I don't
word?
think what you're talking about.
The N word with an A instead of a hard R.
Because the bird is the word.
You're not
And
supposed to say that.
No, you're not supposed to. Not
No,
anymore.
you're not supposed to say that stateside. You'll get lynched for it.
Oh,
But the fact of the matter is that my entire friend group,
Proving a stereotype. I see.
my entire friend group used to use that word, and nobody gave a shit, right?
No, because it's just a word.
But, and even then, when it was just, it was like saying "dude" among the friend group, and they still do it. I am the only one.
Rap songs.
I am the only one that weaned myself off of using it. Just because, not because I worry about offending somebody, but after a while you're just like, it's kind of pointless in your vocabulary. Unless you're around people that are saying it all the time, which,
yeah, but we also
lack of a better word, if you're black, it's okay anyway. So, I don't know.
Kind of immature to say it now.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
no,
You're
you're not a child anymore.
Yeah, you don't need to say it. There's no utility in using it, and at least for somebody
Unless
that's
you're using
not
it derogatorily, at which point you've got a big problem.
Exactly.
I mean, in Europe, it in some regards has a utility, because if you call a gypsy anything but a gypsy, you will get stabbed.
Oh, that's right. We had that conversation.
So you drop an N-bomb on them? Okay. That's different, but sure, why not?
Whereas over here...
That's not even
Listen.
mildly
So was
spicy.
PewDiePie actually... So in the bridge clip, was PewDiePie calling the other guy a gypsy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Instead of calling him... Was that what he was trying
Roma
to convey
or
when he said-
Romani or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
When
They're
in the bridge
not.
clip,
They're
when he
gypsies.
when he dropped the N-bomb, was he implying the man was a gypsy?
Pretty much.
Yeah, Tsigain.
Huh.
I would give it to him.
Yeah, but do you call it gypsy a gypsy with a hard Y or a silent E?
No, I use IE personally. Wait, Metro, will that still get me stabbed if I use the IE instead of the Y?
I'm going to use not the English one, but what they use effectively is the Tsigain. And
But they use Sika?
come again?
They use Suka?
Are you saying Suka?
Suka? Yeah, that's what it sounded like he said. Me at least.
No.
Suka.
What I said is Charlie India Golf Alpha November Yankee Tsigain. And not
Okay, gotcha.
Roma, not Romani. The Suka is Russian. And in Hungarian, Suka is also a bitch, a female dog. And you wouldn't want to call a gypsy woman that, because that's reserved for the horse.
Oh, well,
Yes.
I guess I need to brush up because there's a very large, of all places, there's a very large gypsy population in West Virginia, which
How do they get there?
Dude.
Man, they put them on the TV.
Yeah, there was an entire TV show about him, and a friend of mine sent me an email. Was like, "You ain't gonna believe this shit. Watch this."
How many of them are there?
I don't believe that shit.
About 1 million.
A million of them in West Virginia.
West Virginia, Virginia, and down into Kentucky and Tennessee. Yeah, all through the Appalachians.
Hold on, I'm asking a friend who's in Virginia about this.
Well, if they don't live up in the mountainous part of the country or part of the state area, they're not really going to necessarily know. But
she lives in Appalachia. Would that count?
Okay, yeah. So if you're into road repair, paving, anything like that, pretty much that's who you're going to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I think she works in a factory or something like that, so she might
have heard about it. So,
well, I'm messaging her and being like, "Hey, is there a gypsy colony near you?"
Is
colony the politically accurate term, or do I need to use something else? Congregation, gathering, collection,
ghetto,
hive,
ghetto.
They actually look pretty good here in the
Do I need
States.
to use murder? Is it a murder of gypsies? Is it a flock of gypsies?
Just stabbing
a gypsies?
Stabbing a gypsy.
Stabbing a gypsy.
Jesus.
I'm gonna get stabbed by a gypsy on campus
and
when
demonetized.
spring break's done. I can already feel
Yeah,
it.
dude, demonetized.
It's actually called a klepto of gypsies.
A klepto of gypsies.
Come on,
Oh, God damn it. Who said that?
You got demonetized the moment we started discussing the N word and its applications. Let's be real. This server, this channel is not monetized. Or at least
Oh,
this
it
stream
is.
not monetized.
But my streams are never monetized.
I wonder why.
Yeah, good point, huh?
It's not my fault. It's never my fault.
It's mine.
Always my
It's
fault.
Metro's. Like, I thought about it. I was like, I wonder if I should even
Don't blame Metro. It's not his fault. It's not. Don't blame him for his culture. What's wrong with you?
Well, as long as we don't bring up Serb, I think I'm okay.
See,
Listen, Serb. Listen. It's just very funny how the rules for D, but not for me, always comes around when they come up.
Yeah,
I feel that too.
And
those people?
and yes, and how very how in a very little time his docs get effectively leaked with very minimal effort.
Since I'm not on Twitter, what exactly happened? I always get this shit second and third hand.
Regarding Svate babying, he made a tweet that effectively said that it's morally good to dox Kiwi Farm users.
Ooh.
Well,
And they took it as a challenge.
Stone Toss got doxxed.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Okay.
And that's what Serb was celebrating, was the fact Stone Toss got doxxed. And then to the point where, like, that Kotaku lady, the one that started all this shit, what's her name? Alyssa Mercante or whatever?
Oh, the batshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was reposting shit from Cerberus saying that. Which is kind of insane. I was like, I did not expect to see this, but here we are.
I mean, listen, she was e-begging Hassan to give clout, so...
Oh, I know. And that right there was enough for me to... It's like, why?
Be gone, thought.
God damn it. I'm going to finish this before we get done.
Finish the story first.
Oh, so Cerberus was getting reposted, and then I didn't see the rest of it because by that point, everybody that was reposting Cerberus has me blocked. So
I've seen the screenshots on Kiwi Farms, and effectively it was, well, don't mind if I do. And in 5 minutes, the name, the name of the wife, the name of the child, the age of the child, the address, not just the city, street and house.
Wait, did Serb got doxxed?
Yes.
On Kiwi Farms?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's wild.
I mean, listen, he challenged the internet autists.
I didn't know that they doxed him though.
Well, it was just an aside, as effectively slapping a stupid child.
Somebody was probably sitting on that information and said, "Now's the time to bring it out."
Yeah.
No. I read the thread. It was effectively just
retaliation
about the. No. It was Alyssa Mercante retweeted Cerberus about something. They look at somebody took a look at his profile, saw that in his opinion, Kiwi Farm user should be doxed, and then decided that okay, it is worth my time
have his
digging.
picture and something about a book he wrote. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard.
Yes, but
Okay.
not his address, not his, not the name of the
Please,
child,
send to your Discord message.
name of the wife. Not this kind of information.
I'm just saying.
And with the simple, well, effectively query about the website he is running, they got his address down to the street number. Got the wife, got the child.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Well, this is why you shouldn't dox. And this is why you shouldn't encourage doxing. Because it's all fun and games until it comes for you.
In the immortal words of that great sage, you don't start no shit, won't be no shit.
Well, I'm just saying that these are the people that are happy to dox other people, and then it happens to them, and then they start crying.
Yes, and the dildo of consequences rarely arrives lubed.
Yeah, because they know full well what it does. And that's why I have zero sympathy for anybody who advocates for doxing getting doxed.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Speaking of 2 more appeals, I don't know who I pissed off at X, but holy shit. Lifetime ban. I am still at 2 appeals, and I am still under a lifetime ban.
Yeah, you're fucked.
I don't know what and again, nothing I said that hadn't been said before and said by others. I did on the last appeal say, I would like you to, if you could explain to me why I can be called these horrible things, these horrible names.
Nice.
But that's okay.
Is that the one with the lance?
Yeah.
Lances?
Yeah. And why you won't?
Nice.
Why you don't look into that? And of course, I got no.
Because they're not going to.
No, it hasn't. That platform hasn't really changed that much. But
well, it's been taken over by that.
It's just like what's her face? That S-Queer. What's her name?
S-Queer.
No, that's the username.
Alejandro.
Yeah.
Alejandro.
When it's like full blown spreading the Stone Toss docs, got nuked like 4 different times, and even now it's like this account is like it's got a label on there now. it's wild.
Well, again,
but
I
think
don't
about
really miss it, but I do find it interesting that for whatever it was that I said, and again, I said nothing that couldn't be repeated on this channel that has managed to piss somebody off so bad. I don't know.
How many people do you think are actually running that show where they go through and they decide whether or not to?
I think a lot of it is AI and algorithm at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think it's humans evaluating what's been reported?
Maybe at some point, but I think for somebody at my level, probably not. They don't care. They don't care if somebody with 1,000 followers is nuked.
Probably not. Matter.
I mean, listen, much of the trust and safety team have been fired when Elon came in, so it's got to be automation, and the big profile cases get human review.
Yeah.
And if you make enough racket, it is possible to escalate your case up to some human. But do you really want to?
Well, not really. I just like for them to explain to me exactly what it was that I said that was so heinous that it deserved
someone's feelings. That's what happened.
Now, those people called me, like I said, a Nazi and a fascist and stolen valor and a baby killer.
Whoa.
That's okay, though. That is totally okay to say that.
No, that is so not okay.
Well, according
it is to them.
Listen, much of the Palestine flag and the watermelon in the name or the byline, people should have been banned.
Yeah, 100%.
In my opinion, and they are still operating and they are still saying heinous shit.
What's that whole thing of, when you've got the right side or the center right or everyone from the center to the right going, how about we just don't ban people, and if you don't agree with someone, have civil discourse, but if you can't agree to disagree, then just block them. What's happening is you're having people on the left and the far left progressives going, no, you have to use my made-up pronouns. You have to agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, I'm going to dox you and I'm going to report you. And it's like, okay, so then all of these social media websites, they're all left-leaning then. It's you say that you're about equity and equality and whatnot, but you're only, how do I say this in a way that I'm not
Don't specifically just say it
very well. It's one of those things where it's like, it's forget it. It's one of those things where I'm trying to get it out of my head, but it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't get it out.
It's the bullshit workaround that they use to get around accusations of compelled speech. Is, okay, you're free to speak how I want you to speak, but but you're also free to, but if you don't speak how I want you to speak, then you don't get to speak at all.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing
that's still compelled speech.
Yeah, but the thing is that if I don't agree with someone on the far left or the progressive left, and I go, I don't like what you're saying, but if I want to report you and basically play by the same actions and rules that you play by, no one's going to listen to me. Like the social media website isn't going to back me up and have my side. In fact, I'm like, see that I'm going to get reported and get a lifetime ban. It only goes one way.
I've reported people for saying basically threats.
Oh yeah, calls to violence and terrorism, and then you get that email back that says, "Unfortunately, we haven't found anything wrong with this person's profile." Or what
remember, Elon bought it, but he's already moved on. He's handling other shit.
He's on X space now. He's
Look,
progressive.
I got into it with somebody yesterday over this, and I say get into it. It was something that neither of us were gonna see eye to eye on the situation. But it was basically that something was transphobic, or was dog whistling transphobia, and then it all had to do with that whole thing with Ricky Berwick posting the meme of what you look like and what you really look like, and then everybody piling on that. But my point was that he shouldn't have deleted it. He should have left it up there, because if you're gonna make that kind of joke, then you own that joke. You don't just go, "Oh, I made a mistake," and they get rid of it, right?
Oh, sorry.
But their argument was that they should delete it because it causes even more problems.
How does it cause more problems?
No, it's because a fucking joke.
Because it gets signal boosted. But
doesn't matter.
That's just context. Listen. That wasn't the point of the argument. The argument was that if I wanted to be transphobic or racist or anything like that, I would do it. I'm not going to
sugarcoat it, hide it.
Yeah.
Use coded words.
Right. So the second part of that was, well, you've liked things that other people have done that are transphobic. And I was like, yeah. Because if it's somebody that I do not like, I don't give a shit what you call them, what kind of insults you use, this, that, or the other, I could care less. Yeah. And I still feel that way. If I don't like you, I will use every single insult in the book just to piss you off because I think you deserve it.
I mean, it will start off with, I will attack your ideas and I will try to debunk them.
I'll attack you in general.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it gets to a certain point, like, my whole philosophy on it is, look, if you attack me first, then it's all gloves are off. I'm coming for you. If you,
it's kind of where I go.
Which with a lot of people on the progressive left is they don't. It starts off with name calling, and it's like, okay, cool. So you're not going to disagree with my argument or tell me where in the argument I was incorrect. You're just going to diminish me and call me names and try and attack me, and then call your other friends to come and attack me too. It's like, all right, well, if that's the case, then I'm just going to call you all sorts of other names. And then I'm going to call my flock, and then it's just going to turn into, it'll eventually die down and we'll move on to the next thing.
But, you know, that was just a tangent, because the thing that I put up originally had to do with age. It was about age. And, you know, at one point they were like, well, minors are going to be on this website one way or the other. I was like, all right, hold on. Because we're talking about a 21-year-old talking to a 15-year-old and defending that 15-year-old because their feelings are hurt or whatever. And they got dogpiled. But I looked into it, and on X, the minimum age to sign up for that website is 13 to sign up for that app. So anything older than the age of 13 is not technically considered a minor. Does that make sense?
Yes, I see where you're going with this.
And my whole point was, why the fuck is a 21-year-old, you know, associating with a 15-year-old on this cesspit?
It's a valid question.
And but the problem is that you see all these minors that are on there, and you're like, this person's fucking stupid. This person doesn't need to be on here. I just saw some Russian dude with half his leg blown off that was being memed on. It's like,
it's entirely inappropriate.
And the funny thing was that a lot of the people, even on that side, are going, yeah, I mean, this needs to be raised to like 18 or something. There's porn, there's fucking gore, there's everything. It's a free-for-all.
Or why not just put, 21 or 18 and under, and then put them in their own box?
Because it'd be really easy for fucking weirdos to go into that box.
That's true.
Just look at Twitch. Just look at Twitch and the Discord that various Twitch personalities operate, and how they are specifically targeting minors with their content.
That's true. Very true.
So the under 18 and over 18, or under 21 and over 21, sorry, would be no distinction. I think minors in general shouldn't be on any kind of social media.
No.
Agreed.
And that is for their own good. Because people, and they can hide behind a moniker, an internet, a profile pic, and not use their real name, their real face, can be heinous. That is no reason to do away with internet anonymity, but you need to be clear on that, and you need to operate with that knowledge.
Well, that's
been the only way to stop that is if people sign up with their ID. And the thing is that some people don't want to do that because they don't want to hand over such valuable information.
Yeah.
And not just that, but listen, there is a difference between a government issuing a photo ID and me providing that information to effectively a private firm, an internet provider, a social media company, that is already trafficking with my data.
That's true.
There's a big fucking difference. And also, we've seen time and again how these information get leaked, get phished, not from everyday citizens, but from multi-million-dollar companies. Because people are working there and people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I see it every day of people. Luckily, since I took over in IT, I basically told people, it was like, if it looks even the slightest bit weird, it probably is. So, fortunately, we have very, 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 very few incidents of people getting phished because, that it's training, first of all. You tell people what to look for and then they do it. But, like you said, places like Facebook, places like X, places like Instagram, all these other people, they already have your data. I mean, you're putting your fucking pictures up there every single day. It's not too much of a stretch to be like, all right, well, here's a picture of my ID that has my address and my birthday on it, I don't know.
I mean, listen, just from a photo, just from an uploaded photo, if they can, they can access the metadata in that photo, and they can, follow the breadcrumbs back to the individual device.
Yep.
And if you know the device, you know the numbers, you can get the information from the manufacturer that sold it to a provider, and from the provider the rest of the data. It's not that hard. But no private company could have my ID, because that shit could get leaked.
Oh yeah, look at all the data breaches that happen, almost like major data breaches that happen damn near weekly.
And not just your name, your telephone number, and your email address, social security number, address, signature, shit that can be used to forge fake IDs to get loans in your name.
Well, going back to everybody's favorite idiot, Bitshammer, you need to show your DD-214, bro. Are you fucking insane?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's a level of detail nobody needs to fucking see. And that dumbass put his shit out there on the internet. Like,
there is a reason that the number one rule on Kiwi Farms is OPSEC. And the number 2 rule is OPSEC. And the number 3 is don't start fights you are unprepared to fight.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like the whole thing. I'm going back to the stone toss thing. It's like, I don't give a... I don't know. It's not good to support doxing in any way, shape, or form, because you have no idea what fucking psycho is going to do with that info.
And also, I mean, I also have to appreciate Stone Toss's presence of mind, because almost the instant he was doxxed, it was like he already had a plan in place. Like, I know I'm going to get doxxed at some point, so this is what I'm doing.
Oh, with the hate that he draws? Yeah, he knew he had to.
Didn't he release like a plushie or something like 2 days afterwards?
Yeah,
like
like a day later. But like I said, the people that celebrate that shit are the ones that'll sit there and clap like seals, for stupid political shit. And I don't think people realize like how fucked up that can get really quick.
Oh yeah.
Remember in the 90s where everybody was so hesitant to give any information and photos online, and everyone was anonymous? So all of a sudden after Facebook, it's just blown up. Everyone is so willing to share their information and all of their metadata and everything about them, and be like, oh yeah, here you go.
I mean, it's not perfect, but even Facebook doesn't have my real name. My picture is basically a meme, and my entire profile is none of your goddamn business. Basically, is what it all boils down to. It's like none of your business.
Well, what I was trying to say before was that it didn't come out recently that Facebook, if you have it open on your desktop, it can see everything that's on the other tabs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Facebook knows fucking everything. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was Twitter that said
everywhere now. I'm sorry,
but I'm pretty sure it even came out before Musk took over that they even know when you go to the toilet and sit down and peruse. So they've got everything like to the T of all your habits, and they post all of these those advertisements that would target you.
Toilet paper ad. That would. My creepiest still is something I'm thinking about I should buy, and I open up my fucking Facebook, and there's an ad for it. I'm like,
oh yeah, that happens to us all the time. I
fucking hate
I
that.
joke. I used to joke a lot about how hot it gets, and I mean, I still joke about how hot it does get in Australia. But I had a friend of mine who was just like, "Oh, you can get those inflatable ice baths. It's just like a small little cylindrical thing that you pump up with air and you throw some ice in it." And I was like, "Oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. Where
there it is."
And then a couple of days later, it's there. And then my ex-housemate was just going, "Oh, you can get an ice vest, and you just put like insertable ice bricks in there." I was like, "That's fantastic." 5 days later, there was like they're selling it online. I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
The creepiest is when an ad shows up on my feed for something my wife put on Amazon.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that is creepy.
What's wild is me and my coworker will be talking about shit, and then we'll start getting ads for it through the fucking microphone because it's obviously listening. Because we'll sit there and talk about, oh, I need to buy a new carburetor or something. He'll start getting ads for carburetors. It's like, oh, all right.
I mean, Google, Alexa, Apple, Siri. There was a time when people were cautious about government wiretaps. And now they are willy-nilly installing private wiretaps.
They buy it off them.
Have you seen the meme that's like the woman, it's like the 1950s, and it says, "I can't tell you, the government's listening to is wiretapping my phone." And then the next one is, "Hey, government wiretap, how do I make pancakes?"
Precisely.
It's like 2023.
And that is just wiretap. If there is an enterprising hacker, he can listen to everything, get everything from the device you are using, and you have no control over its security. And it's and you don't know. Well, effectively, you don't know how it operates. You can't tinker with its operation because it's a closed system. You have no control over.
Well, that's why I like watching channels like Scammer Payback, the ones that fuck with like these scammers in India. It's because these scammers like to sit there and act like there are these, high-end hackers, right? Just because they socially engineered you into giving them access using a remote desk software. And it's like, no, all you did was trick these people into opening an executable, and now you have full control. But seeing these guys that actually know what they're doing, that are fucking with them, taking over their CCTV, fucking deleting all their files.
This is still somehow tied to Wheezy and the fucking the assholes that were the fucking not the poachers.
Oh, the scalpers?
The scalpers. Somehow this is all tied back to Wheezy still wanting to fuck over scalpers.
Oh, dude, I got a whole list on them dudes.
I knew you did, man. He's gonna
listen. Are they still sitting?
Uber's home, going, "I'll get him. I'll still get those motherfuckers."
Yep.
Are they still sitting on their and then the death books?
A lot of them are. They just lowered the pricing. A lot of them are still for sale, but now instead of it being $600, $700, $800, now they're dropping them to $400 or $500. And and people are buying them. People are paying it.
And I bought mine for $13.99 on Kindle. Same book.
Don't get me wrong. There's still plenty of copies available on eBay.
Sure.
And I only know of maybe a handful of people that fucking broke down and ended up buying one. And the only people I know that did that is because it was quite literally the only limited edition book that they were missing out of the set.
Isn't you though? Isn't your set complete except for those?
No. I have the full set in normal hardback. I was only buying the LEs that I wanted.
Okay.
And I managed to get volume 1 and 2, but not 3. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I could sell volume 1 and 2 and be okay with it and not really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was just trying to finish out the last 3 books.
Still picturing.
So you weren't that fanatic that beard Siege of Terror limited edition, well, effectively bookshelf.
Yeah,
just the last 3.
I'm chilled out on buying LEs. By the way, Metro, that fucking Spears of the Emperor set sold.
How much? 350 or more?
No, 400 and something US.
Oh.
Yeah, somebody bought it. Because I went back to look at it and it was gone.
Listen, I think you are better off if you put out just advertisement or something like that that you're looking for this pin. Because it's not worth it. The book is shit.
Yeah, and again, I'm still kicking myself in the ass for not getting that pin when I had the chance. Because it sat there for a long time. And they come to find out in the Black Library and Others group, there's a couple of other guys that all they collect are pins. So I have a funny feeling that one of them snagged it before I could get it.
Just for the pin, yeah.
Yep. And
I mean, listen, it's still not as bad as the Umbra Sumus, so.
Oh yeah, oh god. I still don't understand why people are paying that money for that book just because it's a one-off. Like, I get it. It went out of print for reasons. But yeah,
Listen,
I'm not paying $2,000.
Listen, there is collecting and then there is collecting. I mean, have you seen Muhammad's photos about his basement?
Yes.
I mean, that's the type of shit that is effectively a library.
He has a spreadsheet.
And you are not going to read it.
That's a whale. That's what that is.
Yes.
He has a literal basement full of books. He has a spreadsheet to keep up with the books that he's missing. It's like, that is
and basements here in Australia.
Yeah, we don't have them in Texas either.
Yeah, Florida either. If you have a basement, you have an in-ground pool.
Yep.
He's not just collecting books. He's collecting books and editions based on ISBN numbers.
Yep.
He's going to be one of those people where
that's a level of autism.
Everything goes to shit. They're going to come across his flattened house. And they're going to be like, what's this underneath all of this rubble? And they're going to start pulling it all back, and there's going to be like this door.
All right.
And they'll peel back the door, and it'll be like a psst, like that Indiana Jones, the crypt scene.
I'm just imagining something. I'm just imagining something like.
And be like,
I'm imagining something like Book of Eli. Where,
it's going to be like
where it's post-apocalyptic and the only books left are just the Warhammer books. We have to base our civilization on the Horus Heresy.
Oh god!
They'll read it and they'll be like, "Oh my god, Earth was so gnarly before everything went down."
Sorry,
who was this Horus guy?
Horace Lubriderm.
Horace Lubriderm, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what? For me, that the image that always comes to mind is a hoarder buried and dead under its stash.
One of the stacks of books falls over.
Oh, like
yes.
What were those? What were those brothers in? I think it was New Jersey. Something like that.
Huh?
I think it was in New Jersey. Roughly, I'm wanting to say either the 20s or the 40s. Where they were hoarders and they owned an entire like brownstone building, and they were getting on in years. One of them became bedridden. The other was still able-bodied, but they had so much shit in there, and they'd actually set up traps to keep people from coming and stealing their shit.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
And but people started not hearing from them for a while, and a bad smell started coming from the building. Turned out what happened was the able-bodied brother had accidentally tricked one of the traps. Shit collapsed on him. He was killed. And then they think the bedridden brother basically sat there and died of thirst.
Oh, that's a really bad way to go.
That's a little too wild.
But, the thing is, this kind of reminds me of all those temples with all the traps and shit. It's just like a couple of people that have built this temple to be like, it's not a spiritual place, it's just for like all my books and stuff like that. I don't want people coming in.
Okay, it was the Collier brothers.
The Collier brothers, yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. And for other people,
I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. Really, I'm not that bad.
No, you are that bad. You've got I bet you got a shotgun with some rope pointed at a door.
Holy shit.
He's not saying anything, which makes me think it's
he's
what? What happened? What?
I'm just saying, I bet C-Dad is one of those people that has a bit of string and a cut off shotgun pointed at the door.
Mine's much more elaborate than that. Don't you worry about that.
They were surrounded by more than 140 tons of shit that they had amassed.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
No, it was insane. It's actually here in the States probably the most famous case of hoarders.
Was it a big property too, like a big house?
It was a 2 or 3 story what in New England is called a brownstone, which is basically like a brick building.
Oh my God! It gets worse. On April 8th, 1947, a workman found the body of Langley Collier 10 feet from where Homer had died. Langley was found in a 2-foot wide tunnel lined with rusty bed springs and a chest of drawers.
Oh,
kind of tetanus.
His decomposing body, which was the actual source of the smell reported by the anonymous tipster, had been partially eaten by rats and was covered by a suitcase, bundles of newspapers, and 3 metal bread boxes.
Fuck that.
So he was, in fact, bigger than a bread box. Okay.
Confirmed.
Not bigger than 3 bread boxes.
They just had shit. They just had random shit.
Yeah, they were hoarders.
Yeah, hoarders don't usually have like hobby stuff.
What?
They just have shit that makes no sense.
So it wasn't cool shit. It was just
no.
Trash.
No, it wasn't just trash. So some of the weird stuff that they had was they had a gun collection.
Based.
They had the folding top of a horse-drawn carriage.
What in the house?
You never know when you're gonna. And what if you just happen to came across the bottom half of a horse-drawn carriage? Then what? Then you're fucked, aren't you?
They had 25,000 books.
Okay, I'm not saying shit.
What kind of books were they? They weren't like those National Geographic magazines, were they?
Yeah, with the black ladies with the boobs hanging out. Yeah.
No, they were mostly medicine, engineering, and law books. But it gets
look. You might need that in the post-apocalyptic era.
It gets weirder. They had human organs pickled in jars. 8 live cats.
What's wrong with the? Never mind.
Oh, the cats ate them. Let's be honest.
8 live cats. 14 pianos.
Holy shit!
A clavichord, 2 organs, banjos, violins, bugles, accordions, and a gramophone. and then the rest was garbage.
There was a song out years ago about some guy that was supposedly rich, and he says, well, you had millions. He goes, well, some I spent on women, some I spent on horses, a lot on bad Chardonnay, 3 or 4 divorces. He says, and I just threw the rest away. That's literally what these guys sound like.
Well, they did have money, though, because they found the passbooks that had 34 bank accounts with a total of $3,000, which is about $45,000 today.
Whoa.
Oh, so a month's rent in New York. Okay.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, now. But yeah, that's kind of wild.
That is wild.
Jesus.
Yeah, they were a little bit loaded back then, because what you got to remember is, yeah, inflation is a thing, but even relative to inflation, shit was cheaper back then.
Yeah, that's true. It was like only a couple of cents for like a can of like baked beans and stuff.
Yeah, like Staples and all that stuff was pretty cheap.
I'm trying to remember, I used to have my grandfather's paybook when he enlisted in the Army, and I think it was like $75, and then he got another $50 for going airborne, which is why he went airborne.
I feel like that would have been a fuck ton of money back then. Was that a year's or like a month's rent?
That would have been like a month's pay. Yeah, it was like $125.
Damn.
Which
that
was get paid monthly.
Combined with what my grandmother made, because she was some kind of, I don't even want to say, she's basically an autist when it came to train routing.
Your grandmother worked?
During the war, yeah, a lot of women did.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because all the men were fighting.
Because they were in West Virginia, they had to move a lot of coal, as you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Coal mines,
steel.
steel mills. And apparently she walked in, and this is a woman that I don't think she had a high school education. And she walked in and she's looking at the train routing board, and she's like, if you move that train down here, this train up there, and this one, stop it and loop it around, they'll all get there at the same time. And they're like, who the fuck are you, lady? Oh, I just started today. She could look
You're hired.
She could look at the train routes and basically go, okay, yeah, the best way to route them. And her supervisor, which was a man, took credit.
Oh, I'd be
but
that was really common back then.
Yeah, so they sent somebody from Washington, because Washington D.C. to West Virginia isn't really a big far long trip.
No,
and they sent this guy, I think he was a colonel or a 1-star general, saying, "Hey, we got to figure out whatever these people are doing up in Podunk, West Virginia, and turn it all over the country." He shows up and starts asking this guy. He goes, "You didn't do this at all, did you?" No, that little lady over there figured all this stuff out. So he walks over to her, looks at her, and says, "We'll triple your pay, but you got to move to Washington and show us how to do this." And she went, "No."
Yeah. What?
No.
Oh, because of her husband.
I'm not leaving my family. My husband's off fighting the war. My mother lives right up the holler. I'm not leaving. And he's like, "Young lady, you could change how we transport stuff in the war. I'll show you how to do it, but I'm not leaving home." She had never been out of the county in her life.
Wow.
She's like 19.
I mean, that makes sense. 19.
Yeah.
Really
and I'm
traveling. That's why all the boys lied about their age, because it was just like, oh, it's an adventure.
Yeah. But I'm just picturing this little tiny woman going, "Nope, not leaving." But don't care, not leaving. Fuck off.
Get fucked.
She did teach him, and then I think she made a couple of trips to Washington to help straighten up the whole system. But it was so funny, though, that she could just look at these charts of the trucks and rail routes and just do it in her head.
I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, I see autism ran in the family everywhere, didn't it? Okay, Grandma, I got it now. Okay.
Don't mind me.
But yeah, I'm picturing this little 19-year-old looking at this general going, "Nope, piss off."
It's so wild to look back at how generations were compared to how the generations are now. It's like you look at 19-year-olds today and you just go,
Pussies.
You know, yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to
walk
say
and
it
chew
like
gum,
that, but it's
can ya?
just back in the day, you know, would have had popped out a kid or two and had a house. I mean, you know, back then the economy, but you know, like they would have accomplished a lot more. And I think that's the problem with millennials. And as a millennial, I can say that there's a reason why a lot of millennials haven't grown up.
Yeah,
They're all like children, like adult children.
yeah. I mean, my those grandparents got married. They were 18. They had my mom. My grandpa goes off to war. Grandma goes off and works for the war board, you know, the War Transportation Board. After the war, they go back and set up housekeeping. I mean, I think my mom was 16 before they had running water and electricity in the house.
Wow.
You know, if you've never been to West Virginia, think of the most dirt poor place you know, and it's probably poorer than that.
We are pretty fucking lucky to have electricity, running water, a roof over our head, and internet. Internet back then. Imagine going to like our grandparents and being like, okay, so in a few decades, only a few, there's going to be this like little glass and metal box thing, and it's going to have the amalgamation and like all of the world's knowledge at your fingertips.
And
they're going to be like, are there flying cars? Are there like all sorts of these things? No.
Grandpa been looking at naked women. I know. I know that man.
And then
that's so lewd.
But true.
And my grandparents would be like, oh, and is Timmy who eats paint chips off the walls, is he gonna have access to it too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he'd have been like, "Hey, can I see a picture of Betty Grable?" Yeah, Grandpa, you can. He died.
It's like here we have AI now. You can have whatever look. You know, you can make her look however you want.
I don't think I'd have told him that. He'd been like, "Oh, really? All right."
He would have been like, "Oh, look at those ankles. Damn."
Oh. Let's just say the baby boomers came about for a reason. Let's just point that out.
Yep.
I mean, listen. You don't have television. You don't have internet. You have to kill time somehow.
I mean, I remember going from black and white TV to colored TV.
Racist. Colored.
And like having to get up from the couch to actually go over to the TV and change the channels.
Wait, how would a millennial know that? I thought you guys it was pretty.
Well, I was born in 89.
Okay, I was going to say, I remember that shit, but I was born in, 69. Giggity.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial. I was born in 85, so.
Kids.
Listen, I am 88, so I can use slurs because I'm already.
Fuck off!
My
Did you say that you're 88?
Yeah.
Yes.
Metronoid is 14 years old and he's 88. Oh no, wait.
There's
14.
There's no way that you're born in 88.
Yes.
Why? I mean, he's almost 40.
What fountain of youth have you been drinking from, sir?
It's his hate of Daredevil that keeps him looking young.
God damn. I remember seeing you once, and I was like, oh, he's probably my age. Damn.
Are you trying to say I look old?
Yeah,
I was going to say, damn, I hate to think what you see me, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, Pap, you okay?
Well, that's what surprises me is, I'm finding out that like a bunch of people, on this Discord and whatnot, and in the stream are like my baby sister's age.
Oh, yeah.
Or right about.
Well, that's like me with Shadow. Like, Shadow's like...
That's like saying, you're my baby sister's age when most of us are pushing 40.
Dude, I got a pair of shoes older than Shadow.
Yeah.
And much.
Back when shoes were actually made well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got a nice pair of boots that are older than he is.
It's like,
listen, I have a Martens that is older than 20.
You got docs that are like 20 years old?
Yes.
God damn.
Hell, I had a cat that was 20.
Uh-oh. I think Wheezy's lost some important parts.
What are you talking about? No, I just realized that Games Workshop has started to cheap out on some other shit.
Really? Like transfer
You don't
sheets
say.
and
No. The fucking coins, the last two that have come out, or at least the last two so far, don't even fit in the fucking books that they give you.
Oh, they don't fit in the books that
No,
they
they're
give you?
smaller than the slots that they go in, so they just fall the fuck out.
Oh,
Fucking
this
Well,
kind of
that's
reminds me
Chinese-
of, was it Rome that would cut their coins to make more coins?
clip them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the origin of inflation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would clip the coins or file the reason a lot of currency, at least in the United States, has ridges is because they used to file the edges of the coins.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Newton, when he was treasurer of England, figured out to put the ridges on the edge of the coins.
Yeah, and I don't know if they still do it. I know America. I mean, right now
We do
England's
it
more
here.
worried about their diversity 50 pence coin. I had to throw that out there. Rishi Sunak.
It's just all of the UK and fucking Scotland.
Scotland.
Scotland. They've completely been colonized.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like you look at all these old videos of what London used to be, and I'm like, I want to go there. I want to visit that. And then you look at those same streets today, it's unrecognizable.
Even since
And then you've got
last
like
time I
foreigners that are in positions of power, like Rushi.
No,
What
I
the
visited London
Listen.
a little over 30 years ago, and I don't recognize it from the pictures I see now.
I would
Listen,
not
I
be
was-
surprised.
I was in London in
Yeah.
2008 or 9.
Mm.
I wouldn't go back now.
No,
I
fuck
wouldn't
no.
I wouldn't go back. either.
Back then, it was a very fun experience. The HMS Belfast, the Imperial War Museum, the Tower of London,
That would have been so
All
much
the
fun though.
all the sightseeing I could do, and now I was even in the Camden Town Market.
Oof.
Now I wouldn't go back.
It was so funny because I couldn't grasp the money. I have an American's difficulty in grasping money, and especially all the slang terms Brits have for their money.
How so? Oh, as in like
man.
pound and stuff?
Well, we like 10 bob and 7. What?
No, that would confuse the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to game
Who's
with a
Bob
bunch
and
of
why am I giving you multiple Bobs?
I used to
How many
game with a
Bobs
bunch
you
of Canadians back in the day, and they'd always be like, "Oh, it's like 15 loonies and 10 toonies," or I was just
I
like,
know. I know how much.
I'm like,
a
what
loon- I know
the
what
fuck
a-
is this?
I know what
That's-
a loony and a toonie is. Yeah.
What's
A
that?
loony is a $1, and a toonie is a $2.
What
That's easy. Because
Not to me.
like
That, I
the
could.
coin had the loony bird on it. The loon.
I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face for that shit.
no, neither would I. It sounds
They
cartoon
can't-
money.
They can't either. But they'd be like 10 bob and 9 bits, and I'd be like, and I just hold out a handful of money.
Yeah,
Stupidly trusting I was. as
that
a
would
kid.
be me going to Japan because I really want to
I
visit
did
Japan.
the same thing there. I spent some time in Tokyo, and they'd say something in Japanese, a number, and I just hold out a sheaf of money, and they take it and smile and bow and give me my
They've
change.
got a thing though where they don't like accepting money. You got to put the money in that little basket thing.
Yeah, they
I just watched a video of a lady in Brazil trying to barter for drinks, and they kicked her ass.
Good.
maybe they probably understood it because I was just a big dumb American, so they're like, just take the money. Just take
Probably.
extra. They probably took extra. I don't know. I don't even.
Yo,
care.
American tax.
Yeah, whatever. I loved it there. I drank with three Japanese businessmen. That was the wildest.
Dude, they are so fucking just peak party animals.
But they never lost their composure.
No, it's weird. Whereas, I'm warning all of you now: do not drink with an Aussie.
Oh, done. Already done.
No,
Already
no, don't.
I've already done it. Made the mistake.
Because there's
two fist
they
fights.
will drink you just blind, and they'll keep going. And they also play this game called Wizards. So like I've been to a lot of house parties or like where you drink a tinny, and then once you've finished, you drink another tinny, and then you tape that one on top of the other can, and then you just keep going, and then it gets to a certain point where you find another wizard, and then you fight them, and then if they lose, you take all of that until you get like a staff of like all of these beer cans. And I remember going to this one house party, and there was a guy that just had a that was just him. He didn't take anybody else on, but he had just a towering like staff of beer cans. And I was just like, how are you still standing? And like he was slurring, like he was all over the place, but he was still standing upright.
No, it was
like, holy,
some kind of weird. It was something called they have the Canadian Cup every year, and shoot on it.
Yeah,
Aussies were there. There were Germans, the Americans, Canadians, and of course, we all got together and started drinking. And I was in awe of the Aussie. I was like, gee. And he was a little scrappy fucker.
Oh yeah,
5'3", and just mean as cat shit, man. He got into 2 fights that night.
It's one of those things we got a rule where it's if you're going to be doing drinking contests, don't mix your alcohol. So if you're only drinking beer, stay with beer. If you're going to be doing spirits, stick with spirits.
Yeah, I know that rule. I never follow it.
No, neither do Aussies. Because there's always one bloke that's like, "Have you tasted this?" No, mate. Go.
My drink of choice back when I was drinking every day after work was pint of beer, shot of Jack. Shot of Jack goes in the beer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So not a rum and coke.
No. That whiskey and beer together.
Oh, that would taste. That sounds horrible.
No. That's an old guy's drink. That's an old timer's drink. We drop the shot in the beer, and you drop the shot into the beer. Yeah.
Well, in this case, the place was kind of a dive, so he's just poured in.
Yeah. Boilermaker. It's a Boilermaker.
What is a Boilermaker?
Shot in a beer. And you pour the shot into the beer, or drop it in.
Is it any shot?
Whatever your favorite is.
So
my old man, it used to be Jack, and he drank Stroh's and Jack Daniels.
As long as it's not port, because port doesn't go with anything other than port.
No.
But no, you gave me a flashback when you said tinny. Oh man, my mind flashback. Boy,
you guys haven't drunk homemade schnapps from Eastern Europe?
No,
not from Eastern Europe. No, I want to. I hate myself apparently, but I do want to.
That starts about the Gush. It starts about 20 to 25 degree and can go up very high. So in Eastern Europe, if the host gives you a clear liquid in a very small glass, that's homemade. That's usually homemade schnapps.
Well, I need to book some travel time. Now, I really want to visit there. I wish I'd known more about my own past, and I could have visited that part of the world. Especially, it would have been right after the wall came down. Oh, man, that would have been amazing.
Didn't the wall come down in '89?
But I mean, a lot of it didn't really open up. It was into 90 and 91.
Yeah,
yes.
Before we were allowed to travel. So
the last Soviet troops left Hungary in 91. So
they wouldn't let American soldiers into those countries until the Soviet troops were completely withdrawn.
Yes.
But as soon as they were, fuck yeah.
I mean, listen, about drinking. About drinking, there is a custom in Hungary in early spring, late winter, where effectively you slaughter a pig and make sausages and everything about the animal.
Yeah, it sounds very Viking.
It starts about 4 or 5 in the morning. And basically every day you're doing hard labor because first you have to kill the animal. That's the local butcher comes and effectively painlessly kills it with a bolt gun to the head.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you got the burn of the skin a little bit, and effectively
It smells like shit, by the way.
mashing the animal from a whole big carcass into tinier pieces and sausages. And throughout the whole day, all of the men working basically drink nothing but homemade schnapps.
I'm liking the sound of this. I'm liking the sound of this. Though I don't know if I want to be around them when they start fucking with that homemade flamethrower, because I've seen how they burn the hair off the hide.
Bolt gun.
Basically use a flamethrower. The bolt gun. I used to sit at the end of the chute. I grew up on a cattle ranch. I used to sit at the end of the chute with basically a bolt gun that you would load 22 blanks into, and you'd hold it against their head and pull the trigger, and it would just drive a rod right into their skull.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Yeah. Which, had I known back then, I was playing with a bolt gun.
I mean, listen, the flamethrower is effectively I don't know, a gas cylinder.
You hook it up to a propane cylinder.
Yeah, propane cylinder,
and you light the end of it, and you basically make a flamethrower. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and you don't.
And you what kind of goddamn world do you people live in?
And you don't, and you try to not blow up the propane cylinder.
Yeah, you try not to aim the flame at the propane cylinder if you can help.
Yes, but since everybody is very fucking drunk by 5 in the morning.
Yeah, shit happens.
It sounds like Australia on Australia Day.
I thought every day was Australia Day.
No, it's not Australia Day unless there's leftoids marching and saying,
"Oh, that was so funny!" When I made sure I was still on.
Year.
I was still on Twitter, so I made sure I posted like 6 or 7 posts on Twitter. Happy Australia Day, you. Or what did I say? I said, "Oh, Happy Australia Day, you cunts!" And I got back, cut back at you, brother. I was like, "Hey, he understands us." Cool. Somebody's like, "That's rude." I'm like, "No, that's like saying friend." Okay.
You know? I loved it. I thought it was really sweet.
Back at you, cunt. Oh man, Aussies are funny. Y'all ain't right in the fucking head, man. That's all it is.
So, one thing, speaking of circling back to Japan and business,
yes.
You'll never see anything funnier than newbie businessmen who have just come back from Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've had like 3 experiences with them.
We're talking about Western businessmen coming back from Japan?
Yeah, American businessmen. Like it was their first time in Japan.
Oh,
one had completely weaved out. He had completely weaved out. Another one just wouldn't stop talking about like all the neon signs.
It is a little blind.
And I'm like,
not gonna lie.
And I'm like, you never went into a mall in the 80s, did you?
I still found Japan even worse than even the worst 80s mall. I don't know why. It was just completely out of fucking control.
And then the other one introduced me to the concept of somebody turning green when they get sick isn't a myth.
What?
Yeah, he had. Okay, this guy had. I was working at a gas station and graveyard shift. And this guy just come from the airport, and he got in a case of a variety pack case of meat flavored water from Japan, and he was sitting there BSing with me. He's like, "Hey, you want to try one? I'm going to try one." I'm like, "No, that does not sound good at all."
No,
he's like, "I think I'm going to try the beef flavored one." And so he's sitting in the driver's seat of the car. He sits there, he takes a sip, and just like in the cartoons, this green goes up his face.
Can't imagine why.
And I'm just sitting there like, I'm just amazed that wasn't a myth at this point. And I'm just like, holy shit, that phenomenon's real. and he spit it out and whatnot. But oh god, no, people, those guys are funny because they do the weirdest shit.
Like I said, it was
Yes,
so
but the liquor
odd.
is shit.
Yeah, they're sitting there drinking, and I just wandered into the place. I didn't know anything, couldn't read the sign or anything. And it's just a bunch of lower end salarymen. They're like, "Oh, American, yeah, come drink with us." And I'm like, "Y'all drinking water?" And they're getting so.
Oh no, they
shit
love
faced.
whiskey there.
Yeah, they were getting, but it's so
Yes,
fucking.
but they couldn't
expensive.
hold their drinks.
And they were just watching me amazed. They're like, "He's not getting drunk." I'm like, "Y'all, I've already been in Korea for 6 months. So I'm fucking 18 and my liver is pickled." So, but they just couldn't believe it. They're just watching me like, "Wow."
Reminds
This
me of
America
that
can put it
Chronicles
away.
of Riddick with the "Help me." That's your liver.
But they never ever lost their composure.
No,
They were still so like, compared to Americans, they were so strict and rigid. And I'm like, y'all need to loosen the fuck up, bro.
why do you think that there's such a so less marriages and so little children being born now?
I mean, that's what you should do, Cornelius. I heard they were looking for more people to move there and father children, and there you go, man.
To be fair, I would love that
Funny,
because
nice little
Japan
Japanese
is.
girl.
Yeah, I don't think they would like me very much. I'm too big. I'm too hairy. I've heard that bearded men
there's a girl
remind
with
them
every
of.
kind of kink out there. You
They'd
like
be
a gorilla?
They'd be like, oh, King Kong, King Kong.
And they retain their figures until they are 60 and menopause hits. So,
dude, that is I've tried to explain that
it's
to my
reverse
wife.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I've tried to explain it to my wife. I'm like, from like 17 to 59, Asian women will look the same.
No,
then they wake up one day and
Korean women. Yeah. Holy
shit! Ajima.
That like, auntie, you're so pretty, and then they get to like 60 or 70, and then
it's like,
boom, they're like these short, round,
they suddenly
like, little old women,
4 foot tall. Yeah,
and then they smack you all the time.
Yes,
it's like, why are you smacking me? You're not eating. I can see it on your skin. You don't wash your face in the morning. Do you wash your face? You're not my mom, auntie. Leave me alone.
Oh, dude, they're.
I mean, just look at the JV actresses.
Oh, I don't. I can't stand it.
I mean, nothing.
I can't stand the kissing.
No. Just the actresses, not their body of work.
Oh,
they have the same figure. The longevity that Western actresses in such areas don't have.
What's that?
Probably
actress?
the food.
She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yes, I know who you're talking about. She's beautiful, dude.
They had a
Ming-Na Wen.
Ming-Na Wen. Yeah, they had a contest of who's the hottest woman, and everybody thought they'd vote like the 20-somethings. Ming won.
Yeah, of course she did.
Mm-hmm.
She still looks that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She hasn't changed. It's like one day she's gonna wake up, look in the mirror, and be like, ah!
I mean, listen, I remember watching Charlie's Angel with Lucy Liu, and the bitch still looks the same.
She does, yeah, because she was in that that British show with the I didn't like it very much because she was Watson.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking. I can't.
That's the American remake of.
Was it American? I thought it was
British.
The British one has the the guy that plays Smog, and
yes, the British one has Benadryl Cucumber and
yes, I couldn't say his name very well.
Bandersnatch Cumberdick.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, it's
very
fun
accurate.
elementary.
No, I didn't find the first couple of
Elementary.
seasons of
Thank you.
That the Sherlock show with Benedict. I didn't find the first couple of seasons that bad.
No, it was a good show.
Well, he was too busy, so it was like they had plenty of time to write episodes.
Yeah, I mean, he was super autistic, and I'm like, well, that works.
Yes, unfortunately, the end have fallen off the cliff. So
yeah, by the time they got to Reichenbach Falls, I was like, yeah, I'm done with this show.
Look, even when I was younger, I haven't read any of the books in a really long time, but was he always depicted as being like autistic like that?
Because they just didn't know that word. They just called it, very.
Yes, and the heroin user.
It was always depicted as being eccentric.
Yeah, very folk. Well, it depends on how rich you are. If you're rich enough, you're eccentric.
Like Sherlock was always like, that's where Batman's inspiration came from. It was
right.
He was supposed to be Sherlock Holmes, but like, I mean, I read the books like really, really long time ago, and I don't remember him being so special.
I think they kind of overstress it a little bit much. It's more of a logic. It's more of kind of a Dr. or Mr. Spock kind of focus.
Yeah.
That's
what I thought it was. It was hyper focused.
Yeah. When they showed Cumberbatch sitting there like seeing things in the air and making connections, I'm like, okay, now you're just making him look.
You're just giving him superpowers now.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I'm going to bail. It's almost 7, so you crazy kids have fun.
Yeah, it's almost 9 a.m. here.
We're on almost the 6 o'clock mark, and my dogs are already going batshit.
Then let the dogs out. Let the dogs out.
Let the dogs out.
They're on a schedule, so like they let me know.
They're sitting there with their paw on their other paw, tapping their wrist, going, "Excuse me, Dad. Excuse me."
Well, I mean, they start running up to me and hitting me, or they'll run to the door and start hitting the door. So
the dogs are.
It's like, get the signal, Dad. Just get it through your head.
All right, men's. Have a great evening. It was great talking to everyone.
Thank you so much.